Dr. Harpreet A.D. Singh, founder of HARPS, to escort Sister Sangeeta, Om Shri Acharya Naresh, Bhante Deepankara Sumedhu, who is the chairman. Please be seated. Mohini ma'am, please be seated. Miss Jasmine A. Singh, please come on the stage. Now I would request Dr. Harpreet Singh A.D. to gift a plant to Shrimati Indrajit Ahluwalia. Now gift a plant to Jasmine A. Singh. Sister Sangeeta. आचार्य ओम श्री आचार्य नरेश, भांते दीपांकरा सुमेधु, IMS मोहिनी श्रॉफ. Now I would request Harpreet Singh ma'am to take over.
Namaskar, Sat Shri Akal, Assalamu Alaikum, Om Shanti, Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, Amen. We have this beautiful gathering of pure souls today, and we really welcome each one of you from the bottom of our heart for this beautiful gathering of people who have a divine vision to do the best for the world, to generate peace and happiness throughout. And this is not done only by going into the mountains and by leaving the world, but by integrating each and every aspect of spirituality in your daily life. Not only at a personal level, but at an organizational level, where you can see that when an organization with good leadership, with good management, and with good workers who all believe that we are like divine pure angels who can do so much for the society, where there are no boundaries and barriers of countries, of gender, of position, of hierarchy. We started this beautiful divine concept of angels of HARPS. There is no president, there is no prime minister here. Everybody simply is an angel. There is no position, only yes for the management, the managing directors, which are actually from my own family, my mother and my daughter. And I report to my daughter and I report to my mother. So my first learning is that I'm a pure soul and they are pure souls. And it doesn't matter, senior, junior, it doesn't matter. Finally, it is with God's blessings and with a pure intention where it shows in your vibration, it shows in your connection with the Almighty, and when you do everything by surrendering to the will of the Almighty, everything moves positively, beautifully, and even when you have challenges in your day-to-day life, you experience them as a source of learning, as a source of a gift from the Almighty. Because when you get that gift, you say a difficult exam is only given to a good student, right? So that you can progress and you can take that spiritual jump. You can go higher and higher and higher. You can do the best for your world, for your family, for your own self, to make this planet a beautiful place. During the pandemic, we started a channel called Universal Prayers. And in this Universal Prayers group, we had multi-faith prayers happening every day, non-stop. And many of the angels and many of the good volunteers continued with that mission. And we brought in positive vibrations. So one is service, which you do physically in the world, which is also very, very important. We had Langar Seva by the Sikhs, we had Oxygen Seva, we had millions and millions of people being served by different religious communities, different spiritual bodies, they all came together. But what we also realized was that you needed a positive vibration. You need something where you set in with the one and only Almighty Lord. We may follow different paths, we may follow different ways of getting there, and we respect each and every one of them because they are all good, they are all perfect. It is what generates that little chord within yourself. And using that little chord, using that universal synergy, magic happens. Because when you put in your heart and soul into whatever you do without any expectation, I asked myself many times, why am I starting this organization? Is it to get recognition? Is it to be told, oh, she's doing a great job? Then my purpose is defeated. I don't want that kind of recognition. I actually want it to be seen in the vibrations and in the energy that you can bring along. And I've been involved in various spiritual journeys, and I've seen that many times it works in isolation of the real life. And the entire aim of HARPS was set up with the concept of integrated management systems. Give it a scientific, logical dimension on actually how do you process this to put it into your daily life. Because you will have a lot of lectures, lot of thoughts, I should be honest, I should be this, I should be that. But when it comes, in your day-to-day livelihood, in your day-to-day work functions, it can be sometimes challenging, where you just have to go with the flow. So how do you go with this flow? How do you manage to keep your integrity there? How do you manage to have that same pure divine mission within you, that you change them rather than they change you? You remain the powerful Supreme Soul's agent. You are the angel. You are spreading light and divinity. You can, through your vibration, transform their thoughts instead of you getting sucked in to the negativity which sometimes surrounds us. And the whole purpose of this conference came to my mind again when I was meditating one day. And I was kind of given a message that you need to put it into the real world through organizational strengths. Have a system in place that this will work. Many people are doing a lot of things, and I am very, very minuscule atom there, trying to also contribute, but every drop counts. Every angel counts, right? Everyone has a role to play. It is a decision that you have to make that, yes, I am going to do it. It's just a simple thought, and that thought can change everything around you. And you learn to see people around you with much more acceptance. Even if you are noticing certain weaknesses, which sometimes could be from previous lifetimes, sometimes could be the environment that they were brought up in, maybe the challenges that they had to face has made them what they are today. But with your positive vibrations, positive energy, you can actually transform. And even if they do not get transformed, you keep giving. You are the light. You are the sun that is only giving light. Clouds will come, clouds will go. The person who has to receive will receive. It's like a scientific, logical explanation that both side transmitters have to be on, right? So one side is giving, the other has to open to receive as well. Sometimes people don't open that, so they don't receive it. Then they say nothing is happening. So how do we learn how to open that channel so that we can receive it? And this may sound that this is like a spiritual conference, which it is. But the panel discussions are actually going to focus on how do we integrate this into our organizational work. So many organizations that are represented here today did a marvelous job during the COVID pandemic. Whether it was the NCC cadets, the Army, the Indian Air Force, the Indian Navy, everybody mobilized their resources. When we look at the airlines, the kind of effort that they put in, Air India Express, Indigo, Air Asia, Vistara, Blue Dart, everyone put in their best foot forward. They tried to get the vaccines organized. They made sure that they mitigated the risks of the COVID. They reached out to people all over the world, and they tried to help in whichever way possible. So this is an organizational pure intention. So when I started this deviation of using this terminology, HARPS basically means हर से प्रेम और सेवा. हर means God. आप हिंदी में तो समझते ही हैं. हर का मतलब है भगवान. Universal, one and only. चाहे आप मुस्लिम हो, चाहे आप क्रिश्चियन हो, चाहे आप हिंदू हो, चाहे आप सिख हो या बुद्धिस्ट हो, लेकिन आपका एनर्जी वो एक ही सोर्स पर है, which is pure soul, the supreme soul, and you the pure soul. So when we are talking about HARPS, when we thought about this word, हर से प्रेम और सेवा, हर के अच्छे दो मीनिंग आते हैं. हर का means God, हर also means हर एक से. तो आप सभी प्योर सोल्स हो, तो डिवाइन इज सिटिंग विद इन यू. आपने वो चैनल खोला नहीं है. एक्चुअली ही इज वेरी मच देयर, राइट? अगर वो खोल दोगे तो आपकी वो जो कनेक्शन है दैट विल रिमेन ऑलवेज देयर. सो यू ऑटोमेटिकली वर्क इन अ वेरी एलिवेटेड मैनर. सो हर से प्रेम और सेवा मीन्स ऑल्सो सभी से प्रेम और सेवा. दिस वॉज आवर लॉजिक व्हेन वी स्टार्टेड HARPS. And when I brought in the integrated management systems to give it a very logical management technique, that is what this conference is going to debate. The figure of infinity came to my mind because nothing ends. Everything is a cycle, right? So it goes up and then it goes down. You may have deviations in your organization. You may have energy drops in your personal lives. You may have energy enhancements at certain times, but it keeps coming back. So as long as you remember that it will come back, it is for you to have that thought that it will. And that thought is so powerful that it can change everything. And magic can be created in the whole world. It is only due to greed that we don't have proper distribution of resources in the world. It is only greed. If I can remove that one negative quality of greed, there is enough resource for everyone in the world. So actually it is just that thought. If you have a good leadership, you have a good prime minister, president in a different country who is with that kind of leadership, will automatically channelize the resources accordingly. And the aim of this conference is to bring in that kind of leadership. And leadership is not only at an organizational level, it is also at your personal level, right? So we say purity with leadership. So when I coined this word PSQ, Pure Soul Quotient, what does it mean? In management jargon, we always use the word of IQ, intelligence quotient. How much of intelligence you have, how quickly you can assimilate, how can you use your logical brain, etc., which is of course extremely important in your daily lives, and we are not going to undermine it at all. And then came the logic of emotional quotient, EQ. Very important, teamwork, resource management, getting the team together, helping each other, the spirit of cooperation came in through emotional quotient. No team can be successful without a good EQ quotient. Based IQ is focused on knowledge, skills, experience, but emotional quotient is something which is different. You will find a good leadership, even if his IQ is not at the highest level, he still delivers the result better. Because there is a very good harmonious way of dealing with the group. So EQ becomes really, really relevant. But again, in one of my meditations, and when I was focused on pure soul, I got this intuitive guidance that you must harmonize this IQ, EQ with PSQ, which is pure soul quotient. A lot of people actually don't focus on this. How pure is your intention when you're at your workplace? How pure is your action? And how does it actually translate in helping people all around you is what you need to keep checking yourself. So we will be having later on a panel even on quality assurance. And I always say, since I'm also from the quality field in one of my areas of experience, you have all these checklists and you have all this compliance requirements. How much compliance checklist do you do on your own self? Did I comply with my commitment to pure soul quotient? Did I comply in the whole day to day? What did I do that actually enhanced people, that enhanced my own level of purity? And that's how this whole concept came in of pure soul quotient. We will discuss that along through the panel discussions. Meeri Piri was started by the sixth Guru, Guru Har Gobind Singh Ji. He realized when Guru Nanak started Sikhism, He brought in everybody together under one platform, saying there is no Hindu, there is no Muslim, everybody is divine, pure, everybody is welcome, we are all the same. And he brought in that kind of cohesive energy, and which carried on through langars and abolishment of the caste system, and the gurdwaras of the golden temples, etc., were made with the thought that the people who were considered scheduled caste, they were made to lay the stone of the gurdwara to show that we are all equal. When the King Akbar wanted to come and visit the Guru, he said, you first go and have langar sitting with the people who are seated on the ground. And the langar that is served doesn't ask you who you are, where are you from, but it is served just through volunteers. Today you don't even know the name of who's contributing the money, who is cooking, who is serving. Years and years and years of continuous commitment, service, right? And now when we take it to the next level, when Guru Har Gobind Singh Ji was there, and there was a lot of war and strife, he realized people lived in fear. They were not willing to lay down their lives because they are body conscious. For a pure purpose, laying down your life is divine, if it is meant to help people. And when there was a certain religion being forcibly converted into another religion, these are times where they came in and realized you need miri piri. You need temporal power and spiritual power going hand in hand. And that's how they created that warrior force of the Khalsa. Khalsa means pure. The meaning itself people do not know. A lot of people don't know what does Khalsa mean. Khalsa means pure. So it is the pure who are going to be the kings. That is the meaning. But people are not that much aware, that's why I highlighted that. So I picked up the Miri Piri as a concept of HARPS, that we will build in an energy of temporal world and spiritual world in harmony, without fear, with courage, and bring it to the front where you have courage to do the right thing. Today you don't need to have weapons to do the right thing. Gandhiji came in with a beautiful, pen is mightier than the sword. You can use your thoughts, you can use your energy, you can fight, but in a different way, right? So that is the modern way of fighting. The Buddhists so beautifully letting go of all your desires and letting go of all this body consciousness which automatically connects you. And the Muslims so beautifully in the one Allah, the belief in the one Allah, the 5 times of prayers a day as a reminder that do not forget the Almighty. Similarly in the Hindus and the Sikhs, the Amrit Vela, very popular. And now we have also the Brahma Kumaris, beautiful woman energy, both men and women, but the women are in the prime front. If you notice, there are more leadership is with the women, because the women are naturally blessed, like Durga Ma, with all the powers of love and energy at the same time. So you can have the purity and the sweetness in the goddess Saraswati and the goddess Lakshmi and the goddess Parvati, but you also have the powerful Durga Shakti. So when to use which power, the sisters have really developed it in a very, very nice way. And the meditative techniques of Raj Yoga are so good, so enhancing. And when I started doing the meditation as taught by the sisters, I really felt that I was improving. And therefore, I also recommend that we must follow whichever faith we are following fully, but also keep doing your self-checking, and are you really making progress, which we don't do at times. And that's very important when we talk about integrated management systems. And Lord Krishna from ancient times has spoken about Karma Yoga. Ancient. Karma Yogi is a more popular term which most people, at least in India, are familiar with. Therefore, I spoke about it a little later because I knew you already know this. Karma Yogi is like in action, in thoughts, in powerful, whatever you do, it is dedicated to the Almighty. When you do service before before expectation of any, positive result in turn, without expectations when you give, you're a karma yogi. And Raj Yogi uses the mind-body power together, uses the power of thoughts, the power of vibrations. You're the king, you're the master. Everything you have to decide, I do it today and now. I am a powerful soul. I am a pure soul, I am a powerful soul. Nobody can defeat that energy when you've made up your mind. You will not get sucked into that negativity. So I've spoken for long, a little bit, just to introduce the theme, because a lot of people were actually very curious. What does this really mean? What are you trying to do? So this is not me. This is actually, I would say, it's God's, I'm a God's messenger like all of you are. And when you really, truly connect to your inner self, you will get guidance. And I'm just following that guidance. And I don't want any applause or any such thing. I'm not doing it for that. I'm very clear about that. I'm a worker, I'm a pure soul, and I'm an angel of HARPS. And that's where it ends. And I just want to devote my life into helping, into serving, into trying to help in this integrated management system concept so that we can actually change the world. And we can. I'm 100% sure of that. However small the effort, that effort counts. And it slowly grows. I did not expect when one day the meditative session ke baad we have this little discussion and sister was there and she asked me, aapka lakshya kya hai aaj? How the thought came to my mind, I said, mera lakshya hai ki I'm going to start an organization called, maine aise hi bol diya. Within 1 week it was launched. Because it was just the power of your thought. If your thought is like this, it's going to happen. This conference is happening with the power of that thought. Ki ye karna hi hai. That's it. Ho gaya. Thank you so much for that. But like I said, your energy is very powerful, right? So this theme of this whole conference on karma yogis and Raj yogis and business with pure soul quotient, because the moment you use the word business, people think of money, people think of profitability, and people think of balance sheet and accounts, which is also very important because you have to live in this real world. And that is why the Miri-Piri concept of temporal world and spiritual world, karma yogi, Lord Krishna did all what he had to do in this real life, right? To do what he had to do. So you can still do what you have to do. You don't have to stop earning, you don't have to go to the forest, you don't have to leave everything. You try to create that magic in what you are doing. And that is what is the theme of this whole conference. So all the airlines that are here, the defense forces that are here, the Airport Authority of India, the Indian Oil, and a lot of other pure soul organizations that are sitting here who agreed to come and speak because they believe in the concept. We have Dr. Ram Prakash here who survived the World Trade Center. He will be talking later in the day on billion way of being happy. We have a colonel here, Colonel Tiwari, who's already so much into the spiritual journey. We have Mr. Lal over here, who's done so much for organ donations. You will have a cardiologist shortly joining us. The kind of support and the kind of energy that these people have put into their daily lives is what you need to listen to. Viral Bhai has started Let's Make a Difference. You will listen to him in the afternoon. He changed the youth. I have attended his training. And I attended it more than once because I felt it was very good. I learned. I go wherever I learn because I'm a learner. I will never think I know everything. That can never happen. Wherever you go, you pick up something, right? And thank you for coming here, all of you. And all the aviation people who are really, really involved in doing service, which sometimes is not even announced anywhere. In the call of duty, everybody knows about the defense forces much more. But the civil aviation, and therefore I thank Ms. Mohini Shroff and all the IWPA members here, that they are collaborating with us to do this conference. You know, when a pilot is holding that $1 million aircraft in his hand, and if he's not stable from inside, in a crisis, in a 1 second split decision, he's not going to take the right kind of decisions. It's a good example of how you can use your emotional stable consciousness, when we all believe in one consciousness, right? Similarly, the engineer in the background, in 30 minutes when he's turning around that aircraft, if he makes mistakes, errors, or if he loses his patience and starts shouting at everyone around him, he will reduce the energy of the people around him, and there could be an unsafe environment that he gets into, right? So there could be so many such situations in daily life which can be compromised. By the way, this is not a prepared speech. I never prepare a speech, never, because I feel it doesn't come from the heart. I don't know what I'm speaking. I'm just speaking the concept of what I had thought I had developed, and it's not me, it's the Almighty, and the Almighty's grace and vision which I want to introduce. I'm just a worker here, and now I've spoken enough. I would like to first give the introduction of Mohini Shroff, because IWPA is doing this jointly with us, and just say a few words. She's more than 80 years plus, and look at her spirit. She goes for a walk. She's still very, very, very energetic, because she believes in a principle, and she is the founder member of our Indian Women Pilots Association.
Thank you, Harpreet. I am honored to be here, and I really don't know how I can thank all of you to have an odd one here. But may I tell you that I also believe in spiritualism, and I do say that every day is going to be a better day for me. And my only prayers are that I should remain fit, and I should not be a burden on the society. That's what it is about. And I listen to the Brahma Kumaris, and I listen to the other discourses on the YouTube sometimes. And the Brahma Kumaris promote Sankalp se Srishti. That's the main. And then I can just tell them that they are doing an awesome job, and I thank Harpreet for inviting me here. Thank you.
So when we believe the Indian Women Pilots Association, also along with the other men organizations, the He for She members and many others, we've tried to promote not only the women, but we tried to promote the concept of happiness, stability in whatever work you're doing. And we have an MOU signed with IWPA, and that is how we are doing this conference jointly today. And later on, we will also be talking about the World Association of Women Warriors. We have Ms. Shehwar. We will introduce her after the inaugural session. And they are also now supporting us in this divine energy mission. So you can see that slowly the energy is spreading, vibrating, and the message is going from one to the other. And sisters have always been very supportive of HARPS. In fact, they have come many times, and we did a full session in Alliance Air when I was the CEO of Alliance Air. I will just take one more minute as an experience. We did so much for the vaccination time, and reaching the small cities is always a challenge, and converting that aircraft into a cargo aircraft and then trying to reach the small cities was a challenge, but everybody was meditating every day. We did the full Raj Yoga course of 7 days in the entire Alliance Air. And a lot of people came forward and started supporting. And that is the energy that is required. And I will speak about one organ example a little later when you are speaking. So I will right now give the mic to our dear friend whom I'm meeting the first time. You can just introduce him. You have his...
मैं भक्ति सुमित हो. आप लोगों को परिधान से you might understand by my clothes that I am a Buddhist monk. I feel very happy to come here, and this pure soul question that we can call in our Hindi or Pali or Sanskrit शुद्ध चित्त पुरुष, क्योंकि जो चित्त है उसकी शुद्धता ही व्यक्ति के कार्य को निष्पादित करती है. अगर व्यक्ति का चित्त ही क्लिष्ट होगा, एक पुस्तक है that is called Dhammapada. It is saying advices by Buddha like Gita and Tirukural. Many people you might have heard about Tirukural. That is a South Indian book, and these three books, Gita, Dhammapada and Tirukural, they are having day-to-day advice, what we need in our daily life. The Dhammapada starts with very first stanza, that is say, Sab Subham Passing Viharantam, the person who sees everywhere, क्या कहते हैं उसको, शुभाम पश्चिम विहरंतन, एक व्यक्ति जो हर तरफ शुद्धता को देख के विहार करता है, घूमता है, लेकिन उसका चित्त शुद्ध नहीं है, और जिसका चित्त शुद्ध नहीं है वह व्यक्ति अच्छे कार्य नहीं कर सकता है। तो जो चित्त की शुद्धता है वह हर व्यक्ति के अंदर सबसे पहले आनी चाहिए। और हम लोग जब कोई भी काम करते हैं, चाहे कोई भी कार्य कर रहे हो, उसके अंदर एक पॉजिटिवनेस होना चाहिए। अगर हमारे चित्त के अंदर पॉजिटिवनेस है, चित्त में शुद्धता है, हमारा कार्य वो अच्छा होगा, और यदि चित्त होगा, शुद्ध होगा, तभी हम लोग एक अच्छे सोल बन सकते हैं।
A big round of applause, please. So Dhammapada is basically a book, a religious book of Buddhism. Like we have Gita in Hinduism, it is one of the book which talks about the purity of soul.
Thank you. And by the way, she is Captain Vibhav Parashar. She is a pilot on the Airbus aircraft, but she is very strongly linked to the HARPS Foundation, and also doing many times meditation. We take turns at times in the morning. So thank you, Vibhav, for being here and supporting the conference.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And I would now like to request Acharya ji, Naresh ji, and you can introduce him first. And I met him in Rishikesh. आप इधर सेंटर में I met him in Rishikesh thanks to Veera Bhai actually in LMAD, and we had a great understanding and we shared our birthday together, so it was like a coincidence. And I realized that he's young but he's very motivated, he's very dedicated, and I'm so grateful कि आप ऋषिकेश से all the way यहाँ पे आए. Thank you so much. अभी आप कुछ कहेंगे? आप यहाँ पे आए, ठीक.
Namaskaram to everyone. A very good morning. Have a beautiful day. ऐसे तो मैं हमेशा वेद उपनिषद भगवद गीता पे चर्चा करता हूँ. आज मुझे मौका मिला है आप सबके सामने आने का. हम लोग योग के अनुसार हम 8 अंगों को फॉलो करते हैं. यम, नियम, आसन, प्राणायाम, ध्यान, धारणा, समाधि. ऐसे ही हर व्यक्ति के जीवन में जो पर्सनल जीवन होता है उसमें भी, और बिजनेस जीवन होता है उसमें भी 8 रूल्स फॉलो करना चाहिए. फर्स्ट इज़ द होनेस्टी, द सेकेंड वन इज़ द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, थर्ड वन इज़ अंडरस्टैंडिंग, द फोर्थ इज़ द क्वालिटी, एंड फिफ्थ इज़ द रिस्पेक्ट, द सिक्स्थ इज़ द ट्रस्ट, द सेवंथ इज़ द लीडरशिप, द एट्थ इज़ a प्रॉब्लम फाइंडिंग की. द होनेस्टी, अगर हमारे देश में सब ईमानदार हो जाए ना तो हमें आगे बढ़ने से कोई रोक नहीं सकता है. कहते हैं ना कि एक गांव था जिसमें 100 लोग रहते थे, उसमें 99 लोग, जिसमें 100 लोग रहते थे, वहाँ कोई दिक्कत नहीं थी, लाइट नहीं थी, लोग आते थे जाते थे, कोई गिरता नहीं था, किसी को चोट नहीं पहुँचती थी, किसी को गवर्नमेंट से दिक्कत नहीं थी, कोई ये तक नहीं कहता था कि हे भगवान मुझे यहाँ पे आपने लाइट तक नहीं दी, किसी को कोई समस्या नहीं थी. पर 100 में से एक व्यक्ति जाकर के दिल्ली आया होगा, लालटेन ले गया यहाँ से, तो लोगों ने देखा कि उसके घर के पास रोशनी. ओह, ऐसे कैसे? तो लोगों को अब दर्द हुआ पेट में. अब दर्द होता है तो डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं. तो 2 ही सोल्यूशन है, या तो वो 99 लोग जाकर के दिल्ली लालटेन ले आए अपने लिए, या फिर उसे एक की लालटेन फोड़ दे. तो अक्सर हम हमारे बिजनेस में, हम हमारे सर्कल में यही कर रहे होते हैं. जो एक ईमानदार होता है ना, हम उसको कहते हैं नहीं तू बेईमान बन, क्योंकि 99 बदलना बहुत मुश्किल है, वो अपने आप को बदलना ही नहीं चाहते हैं. तो हम हमेशा कोशिश करते रहते हैं कि जैसे तैसे करके एक बदल जाए. तो लाइफ में ईमानदार होना अमीरी होने से ज़्यादा बेहतर है. द सेकेंड वन इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. आज आप रिस्पॉन्सिबल ले रहे हैं अपनी फैमिली का, आपके बेटे का, बेटा क्या कर रहा है, बेटी क्या कर रहा है। हु इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर योर सेल्फ? आप अपना रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कब लेंगे? क्या आपने देखा है कि आपकी हेल्थ कैसी है? हम आज प्लान सेटअप करते हैं कि मैं तब खुश होऊंगा जब मेरे अकॉर्डिंग्स ये प्लान्स हो जाएंगे, तब मुझे खुशी मिलेगी। कि खुशी प्लान्स में है? कभी कभी उसमें भी खुश रहना चाहिए जो हमारे अकॉर्डिंग्स नहीं होता है। लेट इट बी, जो हो रहा है होने दो। हेल्थ पे फोकस करना बहुत ज़रूरी है। द थर्ड वन इज द अंडरस्टैंडिंग। आज हम ऑफिस में किसी को अंडरस्टैंड कर ही नहीं पा रहे हैं। बॉस अपने से नीचे वाले को अंडरस्टैंड नहीं कर पा रहा है। हर व्यक्ति को लगा कोई मेरी कुर्सी न छीन ले। सबको इनसिक्योरिटीज हैं। हम अपना नॉलेज देना ही नहीं चाहते हैं। अंडरस्टैंडिंग, एक छोटा व्यक्ति भी कोई अपना बिजनेस शुरू करता है तो आप देखिएगा 85% अदर लोग जो उसके फ्रेंड्स नहीं हैं, परिवार में नहीं हैं, वो लोग उस चीज़ को आगे बढ़ाते हैं, ना कि आपके वो जो लोग जिसको आप कहते हैं कि ये मेरे हैं। उनको जेलसी होती है, ईर्ष्या होती है। तो हर छोटी चीज़ को अंडरस्टैंड करें। अगर आपके सामने कोई बिजनेस करने का प्लानिंग कर रहा है तो उसको बढ़ावा दें, उसका सपोर्ट करें। आप किस बेस से सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं ये बहुत ज़रूरी है। द फोर्थ इज द क्वालिटी। क्वांटिटी से आप कंपेयर कर लीजिए, पर क्वालिटी से कभी कंपेयर मत कीजिए। कोई ज़रूरी नहीं है कि मेरे 4 बिजनेस हो, ज़्यादा लग्जरी लाइफ हो, चलेगा। मैं खुश हूँ या नहीं हूँ ये बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है। द ट्रस्ट। अक्सर हमें अपने पे ही भरोसा नहीं होता है। हम बोल रहे होते हैं, हमें पता नहीं कि हम क्या बोल रहे हैं। आप कहीं जा रहे हैं तो कोई आपको कह देगा नेगेटिव में, तो आप उसको बहुत डिमोटिवेशन में ले लेते हैं। मैं कहता हूँ कोई कुछ भी कहे, आपको पॉजिटिविटी लेना है। कोई आपको कहे ना कि आप कमज़ोर हैं, आप अपने आप को शक्तिशाली समझें। कोई आपको कहे ना कि आप डिसेबल हैं, तो आप कहे कि मैं एबल हूँ। आप कोई कहे आपको कि आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते, आपको बताने की आवश्यकता नहीं है, आप स्वयं सब कुछ कर सकते हो। आपको खुद पे भरोसा होना चाहिए बस। और ये भरोसा कोई आके नहीं देगा। भरोसा तोड़ने वाले 1000 हैं, भरोसा देने वाला सिर्फ एक है, वो हो आप खुद। ट्रस्ट खुद पे रखिए, रिस्पेक्ट सबकी कीजिए। द 7th वन इज द लीडरशिप। हम कहते हैं ना कि वन इज द आई साइड एंड सेकंड वन इज द माइंड साइड। आप हम सब यहाँ बैठ करके जो हमारे आंखों से मैं दिख रहा हूँ, आप सबको ये सारी चीज़ें दिख रही हैं, हम देख सकते हैं। पर दिमाग हमारा वो सब देख सकता है जो यहाँ पे नहीं है। आप यहाँ से बैठे बैठे स्वीडन हैं, कहीं और हैं, आप अपने हिसाब से चल रहे हैं। तो लीडरशिप को वो चीज़ें जाननी बहुत ज़रूरी होती है। वो एक अंधे की कहानी है ना, कि एक व्यक्ति उससे पूछता है कि भगवान ने कितना बुरा किया ना तुम्हारे साथ। तुम इस सुंदर सी प्रकृति को नहीं देख सकते, बड़ी बड़ी इमारतों को नहीं देख सकते, बड़ी बड़ी गाड़ियों को नहीं देख सकते, तुम वर्षा को नहीं देख सकते। कितना बुरा किया भगवान ने तुम्हारे साथ। तो अंधा कहता है नहीं। वो कहता है क्यों, इससे भी बुरा कुछ हो सकता है? तो कहता है हाँ, भगवान ने जिनको आंखें दी है ना, असल में वो देखते ही नहीं है। इससे बुरा क्या हो सकता है? हम अपने आसपास की चीज़ को इग्नोर करते जाते हैं। हमारी कैपेबिलिटी है कि हम किसी की सेवा कर सकते हैं। किसी को दिखाना नहीं कि हमने क्या किया है। हम किसी के लिए अगर छोटा सा भी कुछ करते हैं, वो सेवा है। ये करना चाहिए। और जो लीडर होता है ना, उसको ये सबसे पहले ही करना चाहिए। आज ज्ञानी सब है, सब ज्ञान पढ़ लिए लोगों ने, मंदिर गए, मस्जिद गए, गुरुद्वारा गए, पर किसी के भीतर नहीं गए, किसी के मन में नहीं गए, अपने मन में नहीं गए। तो अंडरस्टैंड बहुत ज़रूरी है लाइफ का। लीडर वही है जो आगे भी देखे और पीछे भी देखे, सबको संभाल के चले। द लास्ट वन इज द प्रॉब्लम फाइंडिंग के। जीवन में समस्या किसके पास नहीं है? हर व्यक्ति समस्या से ग्रसित है। आप किसी से भी पूछेंगे ना, गिनती के चंद लोग सिर्फ खुश हैं। सबके 2 फेस है, एक मेरा फेस, एक दुनिया का फेस। हम दिखाना ही नहीं चाहते हैं। असल में जो हम हैं वो हम बताते ही नहीं हैं, हम दुनिया को कुछ अलग दिखाते हैं। जब आप प्योर सोल हो जाएंगे ना, और ये जो सारे लक्षण आपके अंदर आएंगे, तो आपको परवाह नहीं होगी कि दुनिया क्या सोचती है मेरे बारे में। वो एक व्यक्ति स्ट्रीट लाइट के नीचे चाबी ढूंढ रहा था, तो दूसरे व्यक्ति ने देखा कि बहुत देर से ही चाबी ढूंढ रहा है, तो उसके पास गया कि क्या हुआ, तो वो कहता है कि चाबी खो गई है। तो दोनों ने ढूंढा, ढूंढने के बाद 10 मिनट के बाद वो कहते हैं कि एक बात मुझे ये बताओ कि चाबी गिरी कहाँ थी। तो वो कहते चाबी तो मेरी घर के वहाँ गिरी थी। तो वो कहते हैं कि तुम ढूंढ यहाँ क्यों रहे हो? कहते यहाँ स्ट्रीट लाइट है। हम परिवर्तन चाहते ही नहीं है, हम तकलीफ चाहते ही नहीं है जीवन में। समस्या कहाँ है वो हम देखना ही नहीं चाहते। एक लास्ट बात मैं ये कहूँगा कि बनना है तो दीपक के जैसे वंदनीय बने, कि जो दूसरों के लिए जलता है दूसरों से नहीं जलता है। थैंक यू।
पहले तो मैं ये बहुत शुक्रिया देना चाह रही हूँ सिस्टर संगीता का, who has come specially from GK Center और ब्रह्मा कुमारीज, and sister Asha का, who was supposed to be here from the ORC Center. She could not make it last minute, but उन्होंने अपनी बहुत अच्छी शुभकामनाएं आप सबको दी हैं, so उनका भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। Before I give it to sister संगीता जी, हाँ जी, मोबाइल में
So, Om Shanti, until she starts, I would like to let you know that actually Sister Asha, she was supposed to come, who is the one of the very much senior most of our Brahma Kumaris Delhi zone, and in our management committee also. So, and Sister Asha, she's been in this organization since last 60 years, and very powerful yogi. And the sisters like us whom you see dedicated. Likewise, we have, you must have seen many Brahma Kumari sisters. We have the force of 50,000. Equivalent to your pilots? Number? So 50,000 sisters and 25,000 dedicated brothers. So these are the basic, the roots of this organization who have been spread all over the world. And Sister Asha is the trainer of these kind of trainings, of dedication training. She teaches the sisters they come from the homes, and how to be a complete dedicated sister. What are the requirements, requisites, the norms, conditions to have that mental dedication to finally physically dedicate. So likewise, that's the simple profile of our Didi. So she was to come, so she has sent a message. So first we'll hear the message from her.
Sister Asha, whose screen you just saw 2 minutes back, reading the theme of this conference, she has sent such a beautiful message. Due to some emergency, she had to travel to Ahmedabad, so she couldn't come. And thank you, Sister Sangeeta, for coming. Raj Yoga helps and empowers Karma Yoga. As in Raj Yoga, we have two powers: ruling power and controlling power. Ruling power is for our mind, intellect, and karma. When we become the ruler of the self and its subtle faculties, we can execute the controlling power of our physical senses. The more we have our senses in our control, the more we can achieve through them. This makes us a better karma yogi. So Raj Yoga gives us a sense of self-control, improves our relationships, as the quality of our thoughts, words, and actions improve, enhances decision making, as the intellect becomes free of waste and reduces our dependency on others and expectations as we start looking and appreciating our own resources. This needs cleanliness and clarity of mind, and the ability to put a full stop to what we know is not beneficial for us. To build this, we need to connect with the self in silence, as silence opens the doors for introspection. This further needs little knowledge about the self and the Almighty, who becomes a blotting paper to absorb all our negativity and waste. Also, this is the most effective way to teach positivity to yourself, as no one can be a better teacher for yourself than you. Such a learning attitude, self-esteem based on who you really are, what your qualities are, helps us become stronger so that we remain unaffected by external factors and deliver our best in all situations. Apology for not being able to come there in person. I was looking forward to this conference, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, I have to deny myself this opportunity. But I wish you a great success for the conference and look forward to a sustained relationship with you. Om Shanti. So thank you, Sister Asha. And Sister Sangeeta, would you like to say a few words?
Shanti. So, what just now we heard about Sister Asha, Raj Yogi. So, Karam Yogi and Raj Yogi. Which is first? Raj Yogi, Karam Yogi. So, as you must be hearing if you had heard nicely. So, it was first Raj Yogi, then Karam Yogi. Because so it's like Raj Yogi, ruler, to be the king of our own organs, sense organs, king of our own self, of our mind. So when I'm able to rule myself, self-managing leadership, then I'm able to rule others. Many times when we be angry, what actually happens? We say, no, I lost my temper. I lost my control. So first I lose to myself. And then I lost my temper and I want to control you. Anger. No? So by losing the control of my own car, I'm trying to control your car, your mind. Can I be successful? Can I achieve success in this area? So first I have to have control. So this is Raj Yogi. So to have control on yourself. Similarly, one simple formula we heard today, Sukh dena, Sukh lena. So now again a formula of control also. So we give happiness because HARPS angel. So they are angels, they'll give happiness. But do we always take happiness? What do you feel? Do you always take happiness? Like suppose someone had done so much good for you throughout, maybe many times, always very benevolent, etc. Always been helping, always cool, calm, etc. And once that person scolds you, it could be one powerful statement, maybe once, twice, and we depart for the day. What do we recall of that person? Abhi tak अच्छा ही किया, but that last, before leaving the office, she scolded me. So what do we recall? The 100 acts or that one powerful statement? So आई एम श्योर वी रिकॉल उसने ऐसा बोल दिया, तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं? वी आर टेकिंग सुख देना वी फॉलो, बट सुख लेना, हाउ कैन वी डिराइव, वी टेक हैप्पीनेस फ्रॉम दिस इशू? Can't we think that there were so many acts throughout, many times, that the person was very good to me? It was okay, one small statement. And it's not that we say forget, chalta hai, forget, I don't mind. Maybe we'll use these words, but somewhere in the mind, we register it very nicely. And when there are some least, when we want to complain about that person, so that one of that statement always comes in our mind, from our mind. It comes in our words also. And then we say, I can never forget what you had said that. So what I did, I consciously remembered. Because otherwise, many things in life we just forget. 1 week पहले whatever you have eaten breakfast, किसी को याद है? Last Saturday, the breakfast we had, anyone remembers? Lunch we had? No. Just 8 days before. And otherwise, the statements, these statements we remember. So what we consciously, so these statements अगर 10 साल भी हो जाता है, it's still green in our memory. We are able to remember it. So what's the problem? The same mind. It can't remember those 1 week before, maybe even 2 days before we might forget. And that day, that hour, that situation we could remember. So what we did, we consciously, that time when it was spoken, we were very much clear, we were very much wide awake, and then we repeated in our minds throughout the day. Could be next day and many times. So it went in our mind. So what happens? We are not able to take happiness. So Raj Yogi means always the one who can take happiness in all situations. And last is Raj Yogi means having the power, all the powers. Like suppose I want to lift this table. Now for me, I would say I'll just see it, it's too heavy, I can't lift it. You would say, okay fine, you will come, you'll be able to just help it, thoda sa usko khiska denge. And someone, other person would come, he will lift it, dusri jagah rakh bhi denge, and you won't feel it. So was the table heavy? Table was heavy? It was still, we say it's very heavy. So it's the, what's the problem? The energy of ourself. मेरे हाथ में शक्ति नहीं थी, मेरे शरीर में इतनी शक्ति नहीं थी. So I felt I couldn't do it. One could do it. So many times it's not the situations. He told this, he did this happened, this is such a big situation, and therefore I have to. So, but it is the power of the mind. We were doing these media programs. It comes every day in the TV. So a sister, she started listening. She was very new. So I met her in Mount Abu. She's from foreign country. She started narrating her experience. She started listening the TV program. It was once when she on, so that if the thing was going on, कि whenever a person leaves the body, because the soul is going to another journey, it's another womb, another life. So you have to just give good wishes. Good wishes in the sense कि wherever you are, be happy. Throughout I have to send it because the soul is in the soul conscious state. It's not attached to the body now at present until it's in the womb. So it can receive the vibrations, whatever you create, the thoughts it can reach. So therefore all the family members, particularly whom he has left, they have to be very powerful and just go on sending. So that if I really wish good for that soul, I really love that person. So that was the going on, that program was going on. She was hearing it. She felt it very logical. The next day also she started watching that program. 4 days she watched it. And she decided, कि ऐसा ही मुझे, this is very true. 5th day, she got a news. Her 21-year-old son met with an accident. He died. The very first thought she said came into my mind. I love him. I have to just give good wishes to that soul. And then she told everybody around, we love him, we just have to give good wishes. And she did it. And then she contacted a center nearby in a foreign country and asked the sisters to come and do the meditation course for 7 days. And until like wo jo kriya hota hai, for 7 days she went on doing this and didn't allow herself and others. Every time she would be so encouraging and good wishes type to give that soul. So the equation remains the same. It could be a small situation, like a table I can say I can't lift, and it could be a bigger situation of this kind. But still, if I am powerful, I am able to do everything. So this is what is called Raj Yogi. So when you are Raj Yogi, you will be easily a Karma Yogi. Your every action, like if I know I just have to take happiness, I just have to be powerful. Whatever other person says, I just want to convert it into a very powerful statement. अगर मेरा नहीं हो रहा है, I am not being successful, I am not promoted, there are many things, but I can just think very powerfully about myself. Yes, I am very successful, because one of our sister brothers was saying कि संकल्प से सृष्टि. So I have to be very powerful in my thoughts कि कुछ भी हो जाए, because अभी तक जो हुआ it was the past, but now I can create a very powerful thought for my future fortune. So if I can convert that power, I can convert that moment in a very encouraging moment for myself. Yes, I will be successful. I will be successful. तो क्या होगा? वो होगा ही, वैसा ही होगा. So this is called being the controller. One last example, a brother of ours, he was to go for a promotion, managing director का post था, interview था, he was very scared. पता नहीं क्या होगा and what all they will ask. So, but then when he contacted the center and they told he just think this way and that, वहाँ गया and he was throughout कि I am very powerful soul and all the questions will come as per what I feel. And this was the powerful mentality with this conditioning. Right from the morning he was doing 4 o'clock. 9 o'clock was the interview. 3 interviews were there and they were from IMS or Bajaj management. So these interviewers, तो जैसे ही उसको white dress में देखा, badge देखा, they started asking, what is this? He started explaining, what is this white dress? What is this organization, Brahma Kumaris, etc. So he started, किसी ने कुछ पूछा, किसी ने कुछ पूछा, 20 minutes हो गया. Okay, fine, interview is over. And afterwards he gets a letter, you are selected for the post. So if you are powerful inside, will automatically your karma भी वैसा हो जाएगा और फिर automatically success will be as per what you have thought. So this could be a very powerful mantra for being a Raj Yogi and Karam Yogi. So for this, therefore I really wish goodwill, success and goodwill to this beautiful organization started by Harpreet Ben. I've been knowing her since I think so 10 years, and she's always been an initiative, always taken initiatives, always a leader. कुछ भी होता था, even I think so the yoga day in Air India. So when it was first announced by the Prime Minister, she was the one to take initiative कि नहीं, we'll be doing it in our organization. So anyone who will take initiative become a leader. So, and we all have a very powerful leader to lead in such kind of organization, which is actually meant to start to activate the leader in you. So once again, thanks very much, and also thanks all of you on the dais who have come all the way and have delivered your Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Sister Sangeeta, now I would request you to offer this to.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
Sister, and please convey our big thanks to Sister Asha for the beautiful message that she has sent, and this little plate also that she has sent. Thank you so much.
Miracle of silence, and some beautiful words are there on this. Very well said. How to control your own self, Raj Yogi. Even I attended that session, ma'am, when it was conducted. Although I was not the part of the organization, but still I can.
Okay, I would just like, we have a very dynamic business leader who has flown all the way from Mumbai, and he has a flight also to catch. And while I would once again request Shantoji to please come, and I know he just did his introduction, he actually didn't finish speaking. I would invite Mr. Shiva Kumar to please come on the dais. After him, we would have your brilliant presentation. He's a leader in the business industry, and a believer in the integrated management systems. And please take a seat on the dais, please. And up, please.
मैं हरप्रीत सिंह की जो ये संस्था है इसका धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा। हम भारतीय संस्कृति की बात करते हैं। मैं बेसिकली कल्चर आर्कियोलॉजी पे मैं कार्य करता हूँ। जब हम भारतीय अध्यात्म को खोजना या खंगालना शुरू करते हैं तो हमारी भारत भूमि के अंदर एक बड़ा टर्निंग पॉइंट है जो 1860 के आसपास शुरू होता है, जब भारत की पहली जनगणना होती है। यदि आप लोग उसको उठा करके पाएंगे, जब ब्रिटिशर्स ने जनगणना करी तो इस जनगणना करने वाले व्यक्ति को उन्होंने विशेष रूप से सम्मानित किया। इस देश के अंदर दो चीज़ें बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण हैं जो हम सबको समझनी होगी। एक शब्द है रिलीजन, दूसरा शब्द है उपनाम। आप यदि भारत के जितने भी ग्रंथ हैं उनको खंगालना शुरू करें तो चाहे रामायण उठा लें, महाभारत उठा लें, वेद उठा लें या बौद्ध ग्रंथ या जैन ग्रंथ उठा लें, किसी में भी उपनाम सरनेम नहीं मिलता है। दूसरी जो सबसे बड़ी और बड़ी सुंदर चीज है वो ये है भारत का अध्यात्म। 1860 से पहले अगर आप खंगालना शुरू करें तो जो रिलीजन का कंसेप्ट है वो हमारे देश में नहीं था। यदि आप बुद्ध को उठाते हैं जो आज से लगभग 2600 वर्ष पूर्व उत्पन्न हुए, या उनसे लगभग 40 वर्ष पूर्व महावीर उत्पन्न होते हैं, और उन्हीं के टाइम में 6 और शिक्षक थे, मखली गोसाल, पकुत कच्छायन, संजय वेलट्टीपुत्र। इन लोगों का नाम शायद आप लोगों ने कभी सुना नहीं होगा। ऐसा इसलिए है कि जो हमारे जो साहित्य हैं इनके नाम कहीं पर गुम गए हैं, जिसमें से एक नाम आता है मखली गोसाल कि शायद वो चारवाक को मानने वाले थे। जब हम बुद्ध की बात करते हैं, महावीर की बात करते हैं, बुद्ध और महावीर को आज आप भारत की भूमि के नीचे अजंता एलोरा की गुफाओं में या और दूसरे पहाड़ों की कंदराओं में या मिडल ईस्ट में अगर आप जाएंगे, उज्बेकिस्तान, कजाकिस्तान या अफगानिस्तान के उन बड़े बड़े पर्वतों में आप बुद्ध को देख सकते हैं। सवाल उठता है, क्या बुद्ध ने एक धर्म दिया? क्या उन्होंने एक रिलीजन दिया? रिलीजन के 3 तरह से है। रिलीजन का एक पॉलिटिकल एस्पेक्ट है। द पॉलिटिकल एस्पेक्ट जो होता है वो सत्ता में को हासिल करने के लिए लोगों के दिमागों को परिवर्तित करके उसकी अपनी एक डेफिनेशन बना करके हम लोगों पर थोपते हैं और उनका वोट लेते हैं। एक रिलीजन का आईना वो है। एक रिलीजन का आईना हम पुजारियों का है, जो पुरोहित हैं, धर्म गुरु हैं और पूजा करना, उससे धन कमाना वो हमारा पेशा है। हम रिलीजन को अपने फायदे के लिए अपने ढंग से इस्तेमाल करते हैं, इंटरप्रेट करते हैं, जिसको भारतीय भाषा में अतीत में पंडित या विद्वान कहा गया। रिलीजन का एक तीसरा एस्पेक्ट है जो बड़ा सुंदर एस्पेक्ट है, वो संतों का एस्पेक्ट है, वो ऐसी महिलाओं का एस्पेक्ट है जो हरप्रीत जैसी रिलीजन को एक उसको सचित चित्त को शुद्ध करके अयंग निज परोवेति गणना लघु चेतसाम उदार चरिता नाम तु वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, कि ये जो मेरा और पराया की भावना है वो हर जगह है। चाहे बिजनेस का क्षेत्र है, चाहे आप काम कर रहे हो या आप शिक्षा दे रहे हो। ऐसा नहीं कि शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में नहीं है, शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में भी है। ये मेरा है, ये पराया है। लेकिन भारतीय संस्कृति का जो अध्यात्म है वो यह है कि अपने और पराये को खत्म करना है। ये जो छोटापन है, ये लघु चेतसाम, छोटे चित्त की जो अवधारणा है, उदार चरिता नाम तु वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, जिनका हृदय बड़ा है, जिनका मन बड़ा है, उसके लिए तो पूरी पृथ्वी ही, पूरी वसुंधरा ही एक परिवार है। और जब पूरी वसुंधरा एक परिवार होती है तब मन से निकल के आता है कि ये जो हर की सेवा है, हर मतलब आपने बताया, हर मतलब हरप्रीत भी हो सकता है यहाँ पे, लेकिन हमारा जो सिख की शिक्षाएं हैं, मैं यहाँ धर्म नहीं कहूँगा, बिकॉज बाय धर्म यू अंडरस्टैंड रिलीजन, एंड रिलीजन इज रियली वेरी कंफ्यूजिंग टर्म. As I am telling earlier, why religion coming in India? It came with Britishers. When Britishers came here, they were the Christian. And in Christianity, you will find priesthood. There are two types of Christianity. One Christianity is priesthood, जिसमें एक priest आएगा, वो marriage कराएगा, वो क्या कहते हैं, आपके जन्मदिन के और सारे कार्यक्रम करेगा. लेकिन एक वो Christianity है जो जीसस की है. And that Christianity is connected somewhere with Indian culture. And to connect it with Indian culture, you have to find two things. One, you might know about Himalayan Silk Route. आप लोगों ने कभी हिमालयन सिल्क रूट के बारे में सुना है? कितने लोगों ने मैरीटाइम सिल्क रूट सुना है? समुद्री सिल्क यात्रा के बारे में आप लोगों ने सुना है? सुना है तो हाँ बोलिए, नहीं सुना है तो ना बोलिए. जी, भारत वाराणसी के बारे में आपने सुना है. हमको लगता है आज की तारीख में वाराणसी एक आध्यात्मिक नगरी है, लेकिन अगर आप ज्योग्राफिकली वाराणसी को देखेंगे, वो गंगा के किनारे पर बसी हुई है. और वाराणसी ही सिर्फ एक ऐसी नगरी है उत्तरी भारत में जो गंगा और यमुना के बेसिन में रिवर वे जो है उसको सी से कनेक्ट करती है. तो वाराणसी वॉज ए मेजर पोर्ट टू ट्रांसपोर्ट इंडियन जो प्रोडक्ट्स थे, स्पेशली सिल्क, जो वाराणसी में और पौंडीचेरी के पास एक जगह है जिसको कहते हैं अरिक्कामेडु. अरिक्कामेडु के अंदर जब खुदाई होती है इन 2200 BC, Arikamedu was a major port between China and Rome. Can you believe this? कि 2200 वर्ष पूर्व हम भारतीय लोग रोम और चाइना को कनेक्ट करते थे. ये जानकारी हमारे पास नहीं है. क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि हम लोग कहीं माइथोलॉजी में खो गए हैं, और माइथोलॉजी में खोने के बाद में जो ऐतिहासिक भारत है, जो खोद करके जमीन से निकलता है, उसको हम नहीं ढूंढ पा रहे. और ऐतिहासिक भारत के अंदर मैं आपको दो लोगों का नाम लूंगा. एक थे कनिंघम. कनिंघम का जो बेटा था उसने सबसे पहले सिख हिस्ट्री लिखी है, और जो मार्शल कनिंघम थे वो सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर के टाइम में भी भारत में नहीं थे, लेकिन उन्होंने भारत के अंदर आर्कोलॉजी की शुरुआत करी। आर्कोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया वाज फाउंडेड बाय अलेक्जेंडर कनिंघम। और अलेक्जेंडर कनिंघम जब खुदाई करते हैं तो जब अशोक के स्तंभ निकलते हैं, बुद्ध की मूर्तियां निकलती हैं, हमारी जो और बहुत सारी पुरानी चीजें निकलती हैं, तो उन्हें पता नहीं चलता भाई यही कौन है। नाउ वी आर सेइंग अबाउट अशोका, maybe many of you they are speaking about Ashoka, but that time we don't know who was Ashoka, and if we don't know about Ashoka we might not know about history. मैं हिस्ट्री की बात क्यों कर रहा हूं? क्योंकि भारतीय जो मानस है उसके अंदर कॉलोनिज्म भरा हुआ है कि हम कहते हैं when I travel abroad many times I meet Britishers or French people, then they say that we were having the colonies here, there. They were having the political colonies. But much more before them, maybe 1200, 300 earlier than India was having cultural colony. अब cultural colony क्या था? आप अगर 2200 वर्ष पूर्व जाएं, मैं रिलीजन पे आ रहा हूँ, ये जो हर की सेवा है मैं उस पे आ रहा हूँ। जो कल्चरल कॉलोनिज्म को अगर हम नहीं समझ सकते हैं तो हम अपने अतीत को भी नहीं समझ सकते हैं। कल्चरल कॉलोनिज्म को समझने के लिए ही हमें अशोक को और हमें बुद्ध को समझना पड़ेगा, वहीं पर हमें महावीर को समझना पड़ेगा। और यदि हम बुद्ध और अशोक को समझ सकते हैं तब शायद हम गुरु नानक देव को समझ सकते हैं। क्योंकि जो बात भगवान बुद्ध 2500 वर्ष पूर्व कहते हैं कि ये जो सारा संसार है इसके अंदर दुख है, वही बात गुरु नानक देव आज से 500 साल पहले कहते हैं, नानक दुखिया सब संसार। आखिर 2500 साल पहले और आज से 500 साल पहले दोनों कथनों के अंदर एक मिक्सचर क्यों है? यदि हम अशोक की बात करें, दैट टाइम अशोका ने बहुत सारी यूनिवर्सिटीज इस्टेब्लिश करी, एजुकेशन सिस्टम्स। भारत के अंदर ये जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम है ये रिलीजन पे बेस्ड था। आप लोग अपना गूगल उठाओ, जो गूगल अर्थ है उस पे टाइप करो पाली, PALI। यू नो व्हाट इज द पाली? पाली कितने लोग जानते हैं? पाली एक भाषा है, पाली जगहों का नाम है, पाली एक छोटी सी किसी ने मूवी भी बना रखी है ट्रांसजेंडर के ऊपर, कुछ लोगों ने देखा होगा। इफ यू फाइंड आउट, आप गूगल अर्थ के अंदर पाली पाकिस्तान डालो, पाली अफगानिस्तान डालो, पाली श्रीलंका डालो और भारत के किसी भी राज्य का नाम उठा करके आप पाली डालो, यू विल फाइंड दैट एवरी स्टेट इज हैविंग, शायद एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट होगा या कस्बा होगा या गांव होगा, उसका नाम पाली होगा। अब आप सोचिए इस देश के अंदर विभिन्न जगहों पर, इंक्लूडिंग आई एम स्पीकिंग अबाउट अनडिवाइडेड इंडिया, हर जगह पर पाली क्यों मिलता है? बट इफ यू पुट देयर नेम संस्कृत, यू वोंट फाइंड। आपको एक सिंगल नाम भी संस्कृत के नाम से नहीं मिलता है, लेकिन पाली के नाम से क्यों मिलता है? वो फिर हम वहीं पे आते हैं कि अशोक के जितने भी शिलालेख हैं वो पाली या मागधी के अंदर लिखे हुए हैं, और जो हमारी भाषा का जो बेस था वो वहीं पर था। उसी पाली के अंदर एक पुस्तक है जो मैंने 3 पुस्तकों की बड़ी शुरू में आप चर्चा करी आप लोगों से, गीता, धम्मपद और तिरुकुरान। क्योंकि मैं तमिलनाडु में रहता हूँ और वो एक इंटरनेशनल टाउनशिप है जहाँ पे बहुत सारे देशों के लोग आकर के इसी कंसेप्ट के साथ रहते हैं कि यहाँ पर कोई रिलीजन नहीं होगा, सब लोग बंधु होंगे, सब लोग एक साथ रहेंगे, यहाँ पे कोई क्राइम नहीं होगा। एक बड़ा अच्छा कंसेप्ट है। उसी कंसेप्ट की अवधारणा आप अशोक के शिलालेखों में ढूंढ सकते हो। अब मैं उस शिलालेखों की चर्चा करना चाहता हूँ जो हम शुद्ध चित्त को शुद्ध करने की बात करते हैं। सब पापस अकर्णं कुशलस्य उपसंपदा सचित्त परियोदपनं एदं बुद्धा में शासन। सभी पापों का नहीं करना। पाप क्या है? झूठ बोलना एक पाप है, चोरी करना एक पाप है, किसी की हत्या करना या करवाना एक पाप है, क्रोध करना या क्रोधित होकर के किसी के खिलाफ कुछ काम करना पाप है, व्यभिचार करना एक पाप है, नशा करना एक पाप है। हम बुद्ध धर्म के अंदर सील कहते हैं, और ये जो सील है इसी को सदाचार कहते हैं, और यही सदाचार बाद में आपका एथिक्स बनता है या आपकी मोरालिटी बनता है। एंड दिस एथिक्स और मोरालिटी जो है आम व्यक्ति के जीवन का भी आधार है और बिजनेस करने वाले व्यक्ति का जीवन का भी आधार है। तो चित्त को आप कैसे शुद्ध करोगे? यदि आप घंटों किसी गुफा के अंदर बैठ करके ध्यान लगा रहे हो, लेकिन आपके मन के अंदर बुरे विचार उत्पन्न हो रहे हैं, तो क्या आपका चित्त शुद्ध हो सकता है? और अगर चित्त शुद्ध होगा तो करुणा उत्पन्न होगी। करुणा जब उत्पन्न होगी, मैं और आगे एक शब्द कहूंगा, इस्लाम की बात। भारत के अंदर एक इस्लाम है जिसको हम सूफीज्म कहते हैं। आज अगर सूफी लोगों की मज़ारों पे जाओ, वहां पे आपको लोग मांस मिलेगा और बहुत कुछ चीज मिलेगा, लेकिन जो भारतीय सूफीज्म था उसके अंदर कहीं भी मांस की परंपरा नहीं थी। जितने भी सूफी लोग थे वो वेजिटेरियन होते थे, और यही चीज अशोक के शिलालेख में मिलती है। वो कहता है कि मेरे किचन के अंदर अब से पहले इतने जानवर कटते थे, अब एक मोर कटता है, एक हिरन कटता है, और आगे ये जानवर भी नहीं कटेंगे। तो अशोक इन बातों को क्यों कह रहा है? बिकॉज when your soul will become pure, when your mind will become pure, मुझे नहीं लगता है कि आप नॉन वेज को खाना चाहोगे। मुझे नहीं लगता है कि आप किसी को दुख देना चाहोगे। मैं शायद ज्यादा समय ले रहा हूं, मैं और समय नहीं लूंगा, लेकिन मैं पुनः आप लोगों तक एक बात जरूर कहना चाहूंगा कि चित्त की शुद्धता को लाओ। यदि चित्त की शुद्धता आप लोगों में आएगी, और चित्त की शुद्धता ऐसा नहीं कि गुफा में बैठना है, ऐसा नहीं कि गुरु के पास जाना है। मैंने हॉस्पिटल चलाया है पंजाब के अंदर, और मैंने बड़ी सुंदर चीज देखी है जो मैं शेयर करना चाहता हूँ। लोग मेरे पास आते थे, उन्हें कोई लेके आता था उनके साथ में, और कहते थे मुझे जी मेरा बेटा इंग्लैंड में रहता है, यूएसए में रहता है, मेरी बेटी ऑस्ट्रेलिया में है, एंड दे यूज्ड टू फील वेरी प्राउड। जब मैं उनसे पूछता था ये व्यक्ति कौन है, हु इज दिस पर्सन, कहते जी मेरे पड़ोस का लड़का है। नाउ यू हैव क्रिएटेड योर चिल्ड्रन, दे आर लिविंग अब्रॉड, दे आर अर्निंग मनी एंड यू आर फीलिंग प्राउड, और आप दूसरे लोगों पर भी इंप्रेशन डाल रहे हो। लेकिन जो पड़ोस का बच्चा जो आपको नालायक लगता है, जो कुछ नहीं कर पाया, शायद वो आईएलटीएस नहीं कर पाया, शायद वो इंजीनियरिंग में या मेडिकल में या किसी दूसरी चीज में इतने नंबर नहीं ले पाया, किसी विदेश के कॉलेज में एडमिशन ले ले, लेकिन वो आज यहाँ पर रह करके आपकी और पड़ोस की बुजुर्ग की सेवा कर रहा है, उसको सम्मान नहीं देते थे वो। तो मैं उन लोगों से कहता था कि ये जो बच्चा आपके साथ बैठा है, जो आपको लेके आ रहा है, who is being help to you, अगर आप इसकी इज्जत नहीं कर सकते तो आप अपने बच्चे की जो बहुत बड़ी बड़ाई कर रहे हो उसकी वैल्यू क्या है? उसी तरह से है, हम लोग गुरुओं के पास, संतों के पास, पीरों के पास तो जा रहे, लेकिन अपने ही परिवार में हमारे माँ बाप हैं, अपने ही परिवार में हमारे सास ससुर हैं, अपने ही अड़ोस पड़ोस के अंदर, क्योंकि मैं जानवरों के लिए काम करता हूँ। अगर एक कुतिया बच्चे दे देती है, उसका बच्चा भूखा है, वो भोजन के लिए भाग रही है, तरस रही है, हम उसको एक रोटी नहीं दे सकते, लेकिन हम बाजार से एक अच्छा सा कुत्ता खरीद के लाके अपने घर के अंदर रख करके और वेरी प्राउडली हम मॉर्निंग में जाते हैं और चित्त शुद्ध करने की बात करते हैं, तो हमारा चित्त होता है। आप मेरे जैसे गुरुओं के पास आओगे, वो भी कहेंगे झूठ मत बोलो, चोरी मत करो, गाली जाओ। आप अपने माँ बाप की जब सेवा करोगे, जब उनका हाथ हिल रहा है, उनका पाखाना धोगे, देखिए इट इज अ साइकिल। व्हाई आई एम स्पीकिंग, बिकॉज आई हैड ए फोस्टर मदर, शी वाज फ्रॉम जर्मनी, शी लिव्ड अराउंड 25 years with me, she had multiple sclerosis और 100% हैंडीकैप थी। मैंने खुद उनकी देखभाल करी। जब आप अपनी उस माँ या बाप की सेवा करोगे, जब उसके आप जो गंदा है उसको धोगे, then you will realize how your mother has taken care of you. एक साइकिल है, उसको समझना है। और ये सुंदरता अगर में आ गई ना आप लोगों में, तो आपका चित्त शुद्ध हो गया। और अगर चित्त शुद्ध नहीं है, बाकी गुरुओं के पास जाना, पीरों के पास जाना, पैगंबरों के पास जाना और किसी कर्म योग और राजयोग की बात करना एक ढकोसला है। मैं यहीं पे अपने आप को विराम देता हूँ और कामना करता हूँ कि हरप्रीत जी आपका जो मुहिम है ये आगे बढ़े, सभी लोगों तक जाए, भारतवर्ष के अंदर फैले और भारत के लोग धर्म को वास्तविकता में समझे। नॉट इन रिलीजन, नॉट द पॉलिटिकल रिलीजन, नॉट द पीस रिलीजन, बट रिलीजन ऑफ द सेंट्स एंड रिलीजन ऑफ द मासेस, रिलीजन ऑफ द सर्विस, जो बुद्ध ने दिया, जो नानक ने दिया, जो कृष्ण ने दिया, जो कबीर ने दिया और जो आज भी बहुत सारे साधु संत सूफी आप लोगों को देना चाहते हैं।
Thank you everyone for being here, and we'd just like to honor each one of you with a small token of our love and affection, because you have taken all this time to come here before we give the mic to Mr. Shiv Shiva Kumar. So could you please all stand and we'll just honor you with these little stoles.
Currently the Group Executive President of Corporate Strategy and Business Development. He joined the group in January 2018. Before that, he served as Chairman and CEO of PepsiCo. He also worked with Nokia as CEO. And later emerging marketing for a decade. He is currently the chairman of the Mobile Marketing Association and chairman of the Advertising Standards Council of India. He is also board of IIM Udaipur. Mr. Shiva Kumar was awarded Distinguished Alumnus by IIT Madras and IIM Kolkata also. Please come, sir, and speak few words.
Leave for carrying on the dedicated session. We just wanted to honor this is for all the work we've done by the Can somebody get one of the angels from the back, please escort her? Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Dr. Harpreet, for inviting me here today. I met her a few years ago at an Institute of Directors conclave, and I've stayed friends with her since then for the last 5-6 years. She was kind enough to be featured in my book. She readily agreed. And the topic this morning that I have for you is ethics in business. I'll speak for a maximum of 15 minutes and then I'm off to the airport. Okay? When I look at this topic called ethics in business, I look at 3 components of it. Or I would like to talk about number 1, what are rules? Number 2, what are values? And number 3, what are ethics? And all 3 are linked to each other, and that's how we have ethics in business. So first, what are rules? Rules are official regulation or a code of regulations or a set perspective. That's what rules are. And there are both formal rules and informal rules. Formal rules are governed by regulation, by society, by whatever you can think of. For example, a formal rule is traffic lights. Okay? If you have green, you go. If you have red, you don't go. Everybody understands that, except in some parts of India. Okay. Now, do you break that rule? Yes, many people break that rule. For example, people at 11 in the night say, there's no traffic, let me go past the red light. That is breaking rules. Rules apply whether they're in the morning, afternoon, or evening, and you have to adhere to them. A good society always adheres to rules. Imagine if there were no rules, we'd have a chaotic society. Okay? Next, on the other hand, you look at something like informal rules. Informal rules are a result of acceptance in a company or acceptance in a society or whatever it is. They're purely informal, need not be practiced by regulation, but people say this is how I do. Okay, that's right. Let's take an informal rule called time.
Let's focus on having the value of punctuality in our ethics and coming back on time. The ladies at the back, I can see you. You can do the shopping in the afternoon, please. Let's come back to the seats. Miss Simran, could you please help round them up? Welcome, Dr. Urvashi. You can please join us. She's the director of the Institute of Management Studies from Ghaziabad. Welcome, please. So we have management and integration of spirituality with management and education. So, Dr. Atya, thank you for coming back soon. Thank you, the NCC cadets. Please come fast. Okay, I think now I'll hand over to Captain Vibha Parashar, who's an Airbus commander and also in integrated management system of HARPS as well as Vicky. And we will talk about Vicky a little later, just after this session. Yes.
Welcome back, all of you. So now I would like to invite Dr. Mohit Gupta. He is currently working as a professor of cardiology in GB Pant Hospital. He is also the cardiologist in Parliament Health Annex. Please welcome him.
Very good afternoon to all of you, and thank you so much for this fantastic opportunity, Abhinda ji, and it's such a pleasure to be here. I've been listening about beautiful thoughts on Karma Yoga, Raj Yoga from our revered speakers. लेकिन दोस्तों, मुझे आज कुछ शब्द ध्यान में आते हैं, और वो शब्द इस तरीके से जाते हैं कि ज़िंदगी भर हम लोग सुख कमाकर दरवाजे से लाने की कोशिश करते रहे, लेकिन ये पता ही नहीं लगा कि हमारी उम्र कब खिड़कियों से उड़ जाती है। तो दोस्तों, आज जो मैं आपके समक्ष अपने कुछ विचार रखने वाला हूँ, फॉर नेक्स्ट 15-20 मिनट्स प्रोबेबली, I will be sharing my own story and certain scientific evidence-based knowledge about yoga, that what this yoga is all about, and how we can actually blend science with spirituality to create a beautiful life. I still remember the day that changed my life forever. It was 20th March 2003. Being a cardiologist, I had operated almost 16 cases. मैं शाम को घर पर आया था. It was 8:30 p.m. in the night, and I was offered a food by my mother. I took an ice cream in my hand and I collapsed on the floor. I started throwing severe seizures. I was rushed to the hospital, and next day when I woke up in the hospital, I was there in the bed after resuscitation. My brain scans were done, and brain scans revealed a large mass in my brain, a large infective mass. This was diagnosed as a multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, and that was the start of transformation. It gave me a chance that I was already following and being nurtured as a Pavitra Brahmin, a brahmachari in my life for last 48 years now, that I've been doing everything, but where have the things gone wrong? I understood that, I have been leading my life in an emergency mode. Imagine, for a person who's a good qualified MD graduate, who was a graduate from Johns Hopkins, studied in Oxford, Cambridge, coming back to India, doing cardiology, everything perfect. A career and a life going just as you perfectly desire in your life. But suddenly things go wrong. And why this is happening? Because all of us talk about spirituality, all of us talk about yoga, but unfortunately, are we able to live that particular life? शास्त्र पढ़ना एक अलग बात है, शास्त्रमय जीवन होना, are we able to have that particular life? And this is because we have lost the balance in our life, work and life balance. The problem today that is stated is that we are using two words synonymously in our life, that I am busy and I don't have time. We all accepted that somehow, somewhere in my life, I am short of time. Somehow, somewhere in my life is running away, and I really need to take control. Ask yourself that whatever you are following, is it really giving you a sense of happiness and joy? If today I feel the lack of happiness in my life, then irrespective of how successful you are, irrespective of what you have achieved in your life, life has no meaning. We have to have a life in which our love, our joy, our happiness governs our life. The next question that I asked myself is that why this is happening? Why this kind of a transformation is happening in my life? The reason was because I was not able to control and change my mindset. Dr. Von Doyer once said that if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at, they change. If you change the way you look at people, people you look at change. And if you change the way you look at situations, situations you look at change. So what needs to be changed is nothing, but we need to have a new mindset in our life. अपने संकल्पों को, अपने thoughts को एक नया आयाम देना, it is very important. So today we again might be listening to thousands and thousands of great points and great orators and speakers, but remember, my first mantra to you is, if you don't change anything in your life today, nothing is going to change in your life ever. We need to have that transformation right here and right now. And that's an individual choice. That's an individual choice. Then I started asking myself that what my life is a consequence about. मेरी जिंदगी का आधार क्या है? I realized that my life is only and only creation of my thoughts. Nothing more than that. Whatever I think, I start becoming in my life. 50,000 thoughts in a single day, with 95% of my thoughts that are negative, repetitive, waste and purposeless. I am today, and in fact every human being today, are losing the essence, the joy, the existence, the meaning of their life, because we have left control over our own master thoughts. Our thoughts give us a behavior, and our behavior leads to our feelings. So if we transform our thoughts are going to create our destiny. So today I'm going to show you in next 12 minutes only 5 places that your thoughts can spell complete magic. They are my own journey. They are journey which has been synthesized from science, and they are not just utopian thoughts or thoughts which we are actually not able to comprehend or believe in our life. So my first take message is, do you think that your thoughts can transform your gene? Is it possible or not? The answer is definitely yes. Let me show you that how beautifully your thoughts can transform your genes. Can we have this slide which is moving? Yeah, okay. So let me show you. We conducted some beautiful experiments in our hospital where I was operating almost 150 cases in a week. And what I thought was, I was getting almost 30% of my patients of heart attack who were between age of 18 to 30 years. This was really bothering me. And we started investigating these children, that why these children are having heart attack. So we measured their stress levels of different levels, and we also measured their biological age, that means their telomere length. What were the results? Look at this. When we investigated them, their chronological age, यानी शरीर की जो उम्र थी, that was between 18 to 30 years. But we measured their biological age, their genetic age. You would be surprised that their genetic age was equal to a old person between 60 to 90 years. Their genes were completely destroyed. This was a revealing finding for us. Imagine 25-30 years child coming for a heart attack, and we are operating and saving them. Then we started investigating what is happening. What is the cause? You would be surprised that these children who were non-smokers, who were non-hypertensive, who had no history of diabetes, no family history, they had highest level of psychosocial stress. Imagine the level of anger, the level of familial discord that they were living with. That is what was responsible for the destruction of genes. And this is what we proved scientifically, that those people who have lack of love in their life, lack of purpose in their life, lack of happiness and gratitude in their life, they are the people who lose their telomerase enzyme and who lose their telomere length, and their genetic age significantly increases, and the disease is manifesting further. As compared to those people who are yogis, who are having happiness and gratitude, who have presence of love in their life and positive outlook, they are the people who are able to live longer and maintain a healthy body. What does it show? That your thoughts, nothing more than that, your relations, it's nothing related to what I achieve materialistically, how rich I am, how well-to-do I am, how well-known I am. It has nothing to do with that. It has only one basis, that how pure, positive, powerful and happy your thoughts are. Your thoughts are controlling your genes. I remember operating a young child of 24 years. When I next day resuscitated that child and went to counsel that person, you would be surprised that on counseling I found that that young couple who was married with a little 4-month-old kid was almost on the verge of divorce. When we counseled them, I asked that girl that, do one favor for me. She said, sir, I'll do it for you. I said, you are already getting divorced. Just do one favor for 3 months, that you hold the hand of your hubby for last 3 months, bring him to my OPD, connect with each other very well, and then we will see what decision we have to take. And now rest is history. They have taken back their divorce papers. Now it's 4 years now. The young child has grown into a 4-year-old child, and they are living happily, Stress is taking a significant toll on our life. Yoga is not about talking. Yoga is not about just sitting in a meditative state. Yoga is a lifestyle. It's a thought process. It's a way we are leading our lives and influencing the lives of millions and millions of people with whom we interact. That is why Dr. Robert Waldinger, a famous scientist from Harvard, in his wonderful study of Harvard's second generation study, showed on 75 years following young individuals that there is only one secret to a fulfilling life. and that is good relations. Relationships with your own self and relationships with your own family. My dear friends, your thoughts are affecting your genes. Remember this. Happiness is not a journey. You have the power to regulate your genes. That is why Times Magazine showed that why your DNA isn't your destiny. The choices that you are making, the decisions that you are taking, they are going to have a powerful impact on your own life. My second message to you, your thoughts affect your body. Yoga is about taking control over your own body. Sanyam जीवन के अंदर जमाना. A beautiful study again.
Scientist flown in from Nagpur, National Environment Engineering Research Institute, who will share her thoughts with the other panelists. And I would like to ask the video people, in the interest of time, we have a participation from Dr. Ernest Vaughan from Switzerland. If you can just play his 1-minute video while the guests are getting ready on the panel, in the interest of time. And I hand over to Dr. Atya.
Thank you, Harpreet. So may I request all our panelists to come?
Let her finish, then you play the video.
Yeah, just let
Hello
everybody
everyone.
come.
I'm sorry I cannot be with you today in person, but I'm very happy to send you this video greeting. Let me first of all congratulate all of you, because you are spending your time today on a very relevant topic, that of purpose-driven leadership and strong values in business organizations, both of which are close to my heart. Why do I think they are relevant? Why do I think that these two topics, purpose-driven leadership and strong values in business organizations, are of such great relevance? Well, it's quite simple. We are confronted as a global community with two macro challenges. The first of those challenges is the environmental challenge. Of course, we have all heard of climate change, and we're all acutely aware how our planet is changing and how our own activities are hurting the way in which our planet can function and are essentially harming the sustainability of our own way of life. And therefore we need to address this challenge. And when I'm talking about the environmental challenge, it's not only climate change. Climate change may currently be the most prominent on the public agenda, but it is more. We're also talking about deteriorating water and air qualities all over the world, especially in big urban centers like where you are right now. We are talking about the loss of species and the degradation of biodiversity. And we're talking about a whole bundle of environmental issues that we need to address as the number one global challenge that we're confronted with. And secondly, I want to introduce the distributional challenge. And distribution, of course, first of all, we think about income. But again, it is more. It is more profound than just how much income do individuals receive. The distributional challenge is very much about opportunities in life. How do we distribute fairly and equitably distribution in life for people all over our planet, in different societies, in different communities? This challenge prevails. And now both of these challenges share one characteristic, which is that they need to be addressed, and that the longer we wait, the more the cost will be to find the solutions. So we'd be smart and we'd be well advised to address them rather sooner than later. Both on the environmental and the distributional challenge, we need to move ahead, and we can move ahead. We have solutions ready in the shelf. We have a lot of smart people working and thinking towards finding solutions. We have people like you sitting in the room today who are thinking about actions they can take, about concrete ways of delivering mechanisms that will allow for a more sustainable and more equitable planet. And therefore, I think it is great that you've come together today and to work on these topics. Now, as I say, both of these challenges we can and we will address. But for both of these challenges, and there I come back to the topic of purpose-driven leadership and strong values in business, both of these challenges we will only be able to address successfully if business steps up its role in finding solutions and delivering those solutions to a wide public. the ingenuity, the creativity, the agility of private sector organizations, of businesses, is unmatched, and we would be very, very not wise to leave aside business organizations as strong actors in finding and delivering those solutions. So because of this context of having two macro challenges which we need to address, which we can address, and I'm sure we will address successfully, we need to be aware that business has a role to play therein. And how can business play a more productive role in finding solutions to these challenges? Well, first and foremost, by purpose-driven leadership and strong values in business organizations. So therefore, once again, thank you very much for listening to this short video. Congratulations on joining this conference today and spending your time, investing your time in thinking and consequently acting on these challenges. And together we will succeed in making a more sustainable and more equitable planet. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Good afternoon to everybody. You just heard Dr. Ernst Born, who spoke about the environment. That is something very close to my heart, being a scientist working in the area of the environment. But more about that a little later. I would like to invite on the dais the esteemed panelists of this session, Dr. Urvashi Makar, Rishabh Alap Singh, can you see him in the audience? Rishabh, yeah. Srimati Samriddhi Shur, and Dr. Neeta Bali. She's not here. So Dr. Neeta Bali, unfortunately we will be missing her. So a warm welcome to the panelists, and let's start this session. This has a really long title actually, the role of science, environment, technology, education, using spiritual energy towards a unified vision of sustainability and peace. I really must thank Harpreet for inviting me to this wonderful event. I'm a scientist, like I said earlier, and science and spirituality, even though this concept has been with me for a very long time, I have really never joined the two like what Harpreet has been doing. And so I'm really happy to be here and listen to all the lectures that went before me that actually showed, proof of connecting this, especially Dr. Mohit, who spoke about this cardiologist. And I see so many people. This is a forum which is very different from my normal scientific gatherings. And I met these two young beautiful girls outside today, and I was so impressed that at this young age they have found a direction which many people who are much older are still wondering and looking at that. So science and spirituality, when Harpreet invited me for this about 2 months ago, she had called me and said, would you be free on the 16th of October, just block your date, I want you to come and attend this. So the first thing that came to my mind when she said all this was all these Dan Brown novels and all this fiction that we read about the science and the church always being at loggerhead, and all those stories actually got refreshed in my mind. And but when you think at a larger scope of this, beyond all that, and then you realize that if you just think about the earth orbiting around the sun and all the planets, if gravity was just a little bit here and there, it would have all collapsed. But what is it that keeps all this working so smoothly? So you realize that there is some being that is more powerful than what we are thinking of. And keeping all this together is our environment. As a scientist working in the area of the environment, I can really tell you with great regret actually that this is always the last thing on the agenda of any scientific forum. We are always given the last priority, even though now everybody talks of climate change and extreme weather events and things like that. But managing the environment has never, very sadly, been a priority. In India, you will be really surprised to know that in majority of our cities, 60% of the wastewater that we generate, and I'm not talking of industrial, the domestic wastewater is not treated. Most of our cities have a capacity to treat only 40% of this domestic wastewater that comes out of all our homes. The remaining 60% just flows down the drains and meets the nearest water body. It could be a river, it could be a lake, it could be anything. So I do not think that there is even one lake or river in this country of ours which is actually so blessed with natural resources. We have contaminated every single natural resource. It's not just water, it's degraded land, it's the air quality, And why? Because we have never paid attention to our environment. Bacteria, when the earth began 4 million years ago, so the only living being that survived from there to today is the bacteria. And why? Because they have the genetic capability to adapt to the surroundings. So when something becomes a pollutant, the bacteria changes its genetic makeup and gets that ability to be able to degrade that pollutant. How many man-made chemicals have come up from when the earth was incepted. So this is how they have survived over the years, over all the, insults that we have given to the environment. So, you can think of them like a role model. We live today in such a stressful world. You heard our cardiologist friend just before me, and he gave us such a beautiful example of, how we can actually deal with it, and our genetic makeup actually changes. It immediately made me think of how, our bacteria. I work with bacteria, so this is why I relate everything into that direction. So spirituality to me, as someone working in the environment, is, until you do not form a system where your ecosystem is not disturbed, you cannot actually really find a sustainable living. What is sustainable living? Sustainable living is when you are at harmony with the natural resources that you have around you. But we are so intent on destroying this entire ecosystem that how can we talk of sustainable living? The carrying capacity of a land, is something that we have really crossed that threshold very long back. And so it's really important for us to, maintain an ecosystem. And the only way you can do it
tomorrow. And these two sentences I would like to share with all of you also, which have been experts of some famous poem. वह पथ क्या पथिक कुशलता क्या, वह पथ क्या पथिक कुशलता क्या, जिस पथ पर बिखरे शूल न हो। नाविक की धैर्य परीक्षा क्या, यदि धाराएं प्रतिकूल न हो। And I am very sure the students have to be made to learn how to face challenges, how to face failures, and here comes the real role of spirituality and yoga of our country. And I am sure that listening to I'm waiting to listen to the viewpoints of the other panelists on this, and then, of course, the discussions will give a lot of new reflections to all of us also. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Urvashi. And now we have Dr. Rishabh Singh. I think he's the executive engineer at Amazon.
Hey everyone, my name is Rishabh and I'm an engineering manager for for Amazon. I live in Spain. I just want to clarify that whatever I'm going to say now is my personal opinion and I don't represent Amazon in any way. That's what they ask me to say whenever I stand on a stage and talk about Amazon. So through today's conversations, what's really kind of coming to my mind is the idea of ethics and the idea of innovation around it. If you think about Amazon, it's making sales, right? One type of sale is deals. We just did the big billion day sale. I hope you guys bought some fun things. There's also the Diwali sale coming up. My management is really stressing me out about that. But how does ethics work here? So, as someone who works in this company, for me, ethics is if I know you can get this item for a cheaper price, I'll make sure you are aware of that, right? But if I know that you're not going to like this particular product based on 1,500 people have bought it before you and they all returned it, then we'll make sure that we don't really advertise that as much, right? But where we're more agnostic is in your actual purchasing of it, right? Because that in the end is your decision, right? We're not forcing you to buy that mobile phone or those shirts or etc. We're engineers and we're just trying to make that happen as quickly as possible, right? So whose fault is it, that there's all this cargo flying around to ensure items come within one day at the lowest cost possible? Because these things have trade-offs, right? And it's a question that consumers must ask themselves. As an engineer, I think of it like a blacksmith, right? We're making swords, right? And we're making swords because people want swords, right? And we'll make sure that the swords work, right? That they're sharp, etc. And we'll make sure that the sword doesn't fall on itself because that will kill the person, and we don't want to kill people, right? But so if someone uses that sword to perform, let's say, an unethical act, who do you blame? Do you blame the person who made the sword for enabling them? Or do you blame the person who chose to leverage that for their actions? To me, honestly, I'm a rational person. I feel like the answer is somewhere in between. I feel like to some extent it's both. But then I have this dilemma as an innovator, right? Being like, so then should I just not build things that could be harmful? But if I did that, I don't know how much innovation would have happened in the world thus far, right? If you think about all the innovations we have today, a lot of them have come from a place of origin in national security, or from a place of origin to kind of solve some type of urgent need, right? I was just talking to ma'am earlier today, who had a great talk from the DRDO yesterday. So GPS, we all use Google Maps, right? And Google Maps has objectively made our lives better, right? But GPS, global positioning system, comes from the need, for a certain government to observe what's happening in the world, right? For benefits of national security. It's just that we've moved on from this, so now it can be used for other purposes, right? So people use surveillance for bad things. Should that mean that we don't create surveillance at all? I don't know, But it's a question for I guess all of us to think. I'm not going to pretend like I know the answers. I'm attending these conferences so I can learn it myself. But I think my thoughts here are for at least problems that we do know, let's create them as constraints, right? As we innovate. One place that I'm really proud of Amazon is I'm sure you've heard of the Paris Agreement to reduce carbon emissions by a certain extent by 2050. By the way, I don't even think that's enough, but at least that's something. And Amazon's taken the commitment to deliver the Paris Accord to within their company 10 years earlier, right? And that 10 years earlier, I hope we achieve it, but it's a call of urgency, and it's a call to start innovating, right, along these lines. So it starts asking us, like, I gave an example of deals earlier, right, but lowest price, and we know customers don't like it. Maybe another angle here is, right, if we know somehow that this delivery is going to cost 10 times the emissions of some other one, should we increase the relevance of it, right? I've seen very recently Google has started showing sustainable or eco-friendly routes, which is car routes that will use less emissions, right? I also saw earlier this week that there's a lot of innovations happening around cleaning up the Pacific garbage patch, and while they've only cleaned like 0.1% of it, it validates a proof of concept which can be scaled ad infinitum, and they believe now that they can clear the garbage patch in 10 years, right? So maybe have a more optimistic view here, because I do see a lot of change happening, but the reason why the change is happening, to drive my original point, is because the demand for it has started coming from you guys, right? So while I thank you for giving me the permission to optimize in these directions, I do hope that you guys have a louder voice here so that we can continue to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Rishabh. You know what amazes me about this generation is like their supreme confidence, you know. The way he just walked around the stage, and I was just thinking, when I was that age, would I have ever had the courage to just walk up and down and talk to an audience? I don't think that would have ever happened. So congratulations. Now this is interaction that I have been waiting for ever since Harpreet shared the draft program with me, because she's going to talk about the metaverse. You know, I mean, at least I think she works in that area, and you know, ever since it started flashing on my Facebook page, I've been wondering what it is. So I'm very eager to listen to Mrs. Samriddhi Shur.
Hello everyone. I just wanted to add, you may not be aware, she is a HARPS angel. They're all HARPS angels. And that's why they're here. They're committed to the purpose. You may not be aware because they're not introducing themselves that way. I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Harpreet. So, Dr. Harpreet, by the way, thank you very much for this platform. She is my role model. Not just because of where she is today professionally, but as a person, she is the kind of person I want to be. She's so grounded, she has achieved so much, and she's still doing these amazing things and making such a great, impact in everyone. Okay. By the way, thank you for being interested in metaverse. I was very much curious whether people here would be aware what metaverse is, but yeah, I can judge from the faces. Not everyone. Yes. So I would be extremely delighted to walk you through the metaverse. But before that, Rishabh, you did a great job, by the way. You walked the entire stage. It was a this is a minefield. And I'm in heels. I cannot walk the stage. I just put a hole in the stage yesterday only. So, yeah. So first of all, before we begin, I might want to introduce myself to all of you. So, I am Samriddhi Shur. I'm not Mrs. Samriddhi Shur, I'm Miss Samriddhi Shur. Yes, it's Kumari Samriddhi Shur. Not even Srimati. Okay. And a few months back, I worked on a project which was related to metaverse for a Women Economic Forum. It was presented there, and Dr. Harpreet was there. She actually helped me out in such a way that I'm forever indebted. I'm bringing it back again, yes. So, in that event, somebody pointed out that I'm very young. And I realized that I'm very young. It was a moment of realization that you realize that you are too young to do the things that you're doing, because when you're doing it, you don't really realize that. Because the person said specifically, the word was, "Oh, you're small." And my question to her was, "What do you think my age is?" So I want to ask this question from all of you, just to make it exciting. You'll all will interact. What do you think my age is? Any guesses? It could be anything, and you can shout it out. Nobody will judge you. Actually, that's accurate. And by the way, I became 22 4 days ago. So, yeah. Happy birthday to me. So, I started working when I was 15. I was still in school at that time, and my grandfather passed away. So, I had to take on some parts of the family business because our business is related to defense, aviation, aerospace, something we are into hard component manufacturing, and we cannot depend on people outside of the business because of the nature of it. So we bring in people from the family. We have a very big family. We come from a joint family. And a few years back, not 2 years back, a year back, I ventured into this field of metaverse, and I started working. I have my own startup at the moment. It's called the House of Griffin. And okay, by the way, Griffin, don't judge it by the name. Griffin is basically an abbreviation from Kryptonium FinTech Private Limited. So you take Griff from that and Fin from that, it becomes Griffin. That's it. And metaverse is a very amazing and exciting field for everyone. It is a place where whatever you can imagine, you can be. It is very much this way in the real world as well. But a lot of times, people don't really believe that. But if you don't believe that in the metaverse, you cannot really achieve it. It's a virtual world. And everything that you want to be, or you have imagined yourself to be, you can be that in the exact same form, in the exact same way you want it to be. If you want to fly, you can fly instead of walking in the metaverse.
Dr. Akya, thank you for moderating and coming all the way from Lahore.
Good afternoon to everyone, and I brings greetings from the church and my community as well. And I'm thankful to Dr. Harpreet and HARPS that they had given me opportunity to read a passage from the Bible. As you know that Bible is a collection of 66 books written by 40 writers, and it speaks on many topics, but I have chosen to read a passage which says about the love. So I'll read from the book of, this is the first Paul's letter to Corinthians, chapter 13, verses beginning from 1 to 10. This says about the love. If I speak in the tongues of men, of angels, but have not love, I am a noisy gang or clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith, so as to remove mountains but have not love, I am nothing. If I give away all I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned but have not love, I gain nothing. Love is a patient. Love is a kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Love never ends. As for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part, but when the perfect comes, the partial will pass away. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I have fully known. So now faith, hope, and love abide these three, but the greatest of these is love. So Jesus Christ says about the love that we all know that love is important in our life, that without love we cannot maintain any relationship in our family or in our circle or in our offices. Suppose if someone approaches us for a suitable match for our son or daughter, what we do? We always speak high for our son and daughter, but we never disclose what are the bad things of our child. Why? Because we love our child. Therefore we don't want to tell anything to other party. And in the opposite of this, a person who is residing nearby to us and someone approach us, they tell us about this boy or a girl, then we believe on this principle that always speak truth. We say that this boy is not progressive, this is a lazy, and blah blah blah. Why? Because love is not there. We don't love that boy or a girl. So love is very important in our life. And another thing is forgiveness. Jesus Christ told us that forgive one and another. One of the disciples of Jesus Christ asked, Master, how many times I forgive to others? Jesus Christ replied, not only once, twice, 3 times. He says, then disciple says 7 times. Master said, Jesus Christ said, no, 7 into 10, 70 times. So love and forgive, these are the two sides of the coins which keep us happy. Love gives the peace in your heart, and forgiveness gives joy in your life. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend, for really honoring us, and thank you for gifting us with the Bible. Thank you. I just have one question which I'll leave it to the audience now. There is a business and finance panel. If we agree, we can all do it now and then go for lunch. I'm now making it a question open to the audience first to stick to the program of schedule, or we quickly have a lunch. My worry is that they will be delayed then in restarting. So how do we, a show of hands, can we quickly do the business finance panel and then go for lunch? Is that okay with everybody, or are you very hungry? Okay, so please come quickly on the stage then. Let's then at least stick to the schedule of pre-lunch finishing the way it is, so that post-lunch we have a great program of Dr. Lal with his organ donation, we have the social service panel, we have the ethics and business, and we have the Universal Press group, in the end. And we have the awards and we have the NCC, and I know the airlines are getting a little desperate, but you won't get this kind of opportunity again. So please bear with us and let's listen to these wonderful people. So please, the business finance panel, I hand over to the moderator. Mamta.
Thank you so much, Harpreet. And it's an honor to be the moderator of the panel Business and Finance. We all are waiting for this particular panel. So my name is Mamta Godial and I'm one of the proud angel associated with HARPS. Apart from this, I'm an international director with WOW, that is World Association of Women Warriors, which work for women empowerment. With me, I have eminent dignitaries. I'll introduce to them shortly. Mr. Vinod Hejmani. He is CFO of Air India. We have Ms. Deepika Jindal, MD of Jindal Lifestyle Ardenox. Mr. Shalabh Sehgal, Investor Director at Organic Shine, Plutus Global Finance, and Ms. Rakhi Biswas, Lord in Space, Aviation and Technology. I would now request the distinguished panelists to please introduce themselves one by one. Mr. Vinod, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Mamta. We are between you and between lunch and you, so we'll make it fast. I'm a chartered accountant by profession, and I worked in Air India for the last 34 years, and I've been in the board for the last 7 or 8 years. I think that's enough. It's a very interesting session. I was very glad that I made it to Delhi today to attend this function, because whatever I heard in the morning from the doctor, from the Swamiji, from Sister Sangeeta, it was really enlightening. So thank you very much, and I hope you will find this session also as interesting.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I will not blow my trumpet either, because I think spirituality also teaches us to be humble. I'm Rakhi Biswas. I have a boutique law firm called Spavia Tech Law, which specializes in aerospace, aviation and technology. I've been in the technology and aerospace industry for about 25 years. I trained in France in aviation law. Recently we've done a lot of work on drones, which have a lot of human impact in the agri sector specifically. And I'm glad to be here to be participating in this session, which really covers a very unique topic, which is spirituality. And in my discourse I will try to link how spirituality and law is so interconnected, and that is when all my panelists have introduced themselves. Look forward to meeting you all at lunch as well. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Deepika Jindal. I started the brand Ardenox, which basically it's a lifestyle product dealing with stainless steel, and I started this company almost 18 years back. It's a full Make in India brand, and I'm really happy to be a part of this program, and I am a very spiritual person, and that's what attracted me to this event. Thank you so much.
A very warm good afternoon to you all. I am Shalabh Sehgal, hailing from engineering and management background. I have worked in leadership positions in the core industries as well as the technology sector. And later on, I took sabbatical in 2018 and co-founded companies in the area of financial services and healthcare. I am also an investor by hobby. And in recent times, we co-founded this World Association of Women Warriors, of which I am an international director. Thank you. So looking forward to the session.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and now we will move to our today's theme, which is based on business, finance and human values, ethics. So keeping the theme in the mind, we'll quickly move to our question. My first question is to Mr. Vinod Hejmani ji. Sir, we all know that Air India has a great legacy. Under its new avatar, how do you go about maintaining the balance between human value and business profitability?
Thank you. Yes, I think I heard in the morning the CEO mentioning about Tatas and being trustworthy. So with the name Tatas, it comes trust. So the first thing that we had, all of us, when after the disinvestment happened, was we had to all sign up for the Tata Code of Conduct. And each and every employee signed for the Tata Code of Conduct. Tata conducts its business always in the value-based company. So the first is trustworthy. So when you are in a organization which is for customer service, I think there are no shortcuts to success, because the customer who is the king, and you have to be it's very important that the customer is satisfied. He mentioned, the speaker in the morning had mentioned that there is no shortcut to success, and there is absolutely no shortcut to success in our industry, which is a customer service industry. So ours, the entire organization is geared up to a value-based behavior and practices. The core Tata values, actually one thing that we learned is that it is not, we cannot violate the Tata Code of Conduct. So it's inviolable. So if you make a mistake, then it is actually it's end of it. So that's where we are thinking. The integrity is the most important part of the code, one of the most important principles of Tata Code of Conduct. Then we have to be responsible enough. And actually Tata has always helped, encouraged to be pioneers in everything. So we are given the encouragement to be pioneers in everything. So we try to do something new for this organization. And whatever you do, we'd like to excel in that. That's one of the value principles in us. And when you're doing all this, we try to unite. We have to be in it together, because it's always a teamwork that takes you to success. I think I heard in the morning also, you must never always say that I have done this, I have done this. Actually, it's always we have done it. And in our industry, it's we have to work as a team to do it. When you do all this, the profits are automatic. We are not actually focusing on profitability, but when you give good service, you will get results. And that's where the Tata Code of Conduct is, and the Tata culture is, and that's where Air India is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Profit do matters, and business and finance play an important role in the growth of the economy. But we must understand that apart from profit, we also do value to the, give weightage to the human values. So coming to the values and ethics, my next question is to Rakhi Biswas. Okay, Rakhi, how legal compliances ensures that profitability method adopted by companies stay within the boundaries of ethics?
Thank you for that question. Actually, I would, taking a cue from integrity, say that spirituality in corporate world is about integrity plus action, which is equal to compliance, and therefore the corporate spirituality and compliance kind of overlap. I'll take an example of how profitability can get hit by integrity issues or by neglect to human factors or human values or even human stress, for example. Okay, and I see that I'm sitting in the National Aviation Academy, and I see a lot of pilots. I run a law firm which deals with aviation, so I'll take an example from the aviation world, which is the German wings example. Now, German wings had a glorious history of no accidents. Okay, in 2015, there was a plane that took off from Barcelona, and the pilot was under a lot of stress. He made sure that he locked the cockpit of the aircraft, and he crashed the plane, and 144 people died in that. Okay. Before that, this co-pilot who had taken control of the plane had a lot of history of stress, and it was kind of ignored by the organization. He was made to attend to his flying duties, and that was the consequence, loss of 144 human lives. German wings came under a lot of pressure. Their business came down, right? So that is the spiraling impact which happens out of neglect of small neglects, which we call the Swiss cheese model in aviation, like a lot of individual factors combine to become a big calamity. So I would say that integrity is a non-negotiable element in corporate compliance, and I think integrity comes down from three elements, which is tone from the top, the culture of the organization, and an individual responsibility. The moment any of these three elements are compromised, I think the integrity and the compliance environment of your organization starts shattering, and it eventually results in business losses also, and we have number of examples of that. You would have seen the Volkswagen example when they kind of manipulated the pollution dial systems, and they came under scrutiny of all the regulators in the world, and they had to withdraw all the cars. So every day we read about news where one or the other organization has faltered on implementation of compliance, and compliance is actually, it's not really a legal stuff, I would say. It's just pure truth, honesty, and sensing that something is not right, which is like even a 3-year-old child can say what is not right, and it doesn't really require CEOs to figure out what integrity is. Anybody in a normal life can figure what integrity is, and corporates are supposed to be run with the morals of a 3-year-old child. That's all I would have to say.
Rightly said, Rakhi. In fact, I being a compliance person, I also feel that compliance actually help in creating a healthy environment within the organization, and it actually ensure that profitability comes through the right channels, and this in fact creates trust and positivity within the organization. Since you have spoken about culture, my next question is to Ms. Deepika. How does a company keep its culture intact and its employee connected in today's new complex hybrid work environment without compromising on its aggressive stance of profitability?
Thank you so much for this interesting question, but I'm lucky to come from a family with a legacy. And like Tatas, the Jindals are in the work for almost 50 plus years now. And luckily the legacy came with the company, and there were very strong values and principles that we all follow in the company. And since we are all directly involved in our businesses and we know the pulse, we are very careful of what and how we do our businesses, and everything is done very clean and transparent. And it's always about teamwork. It's all about giving back to the community. We are very, very particular. I think like the CSR thing started now, but our Jindals have been doing this for generations, where we've been giving back to society with the hospitals, schools, whatever we do, we always believe in giving back to society before we even think of anything. So I think, and we always have a lot of engaging activities with our employees in our institutions, in our businesses, so that there's a lot of engagement with our employees. Like we have a day, celebration days, we have the Founders Day, we have a lot of speakers come and speak to them. And I recently, since I've joined the Raj Yoga meditation, I have a weekly online Zoom call, which is for all the employees who want to attend, on values, so it helps them to talk about their stresses, learn about how to sort of help them to live a stress-free life and values in the environment that they are living today with their families. So there's a lot of progressive activities we keep doing. And I think because we are at the realm of all our affairs, we are able to see that the work culture maintains what we really want it to be. For us, it's just not about us, but it is about the ecosystem around us in our company. So I think I'm very blessed to have such a legacy with us, that we can continue what we got, and we hopefully our next generation do the same.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Truly we will, and thank you so much. It was very beautifully addressed, and we must all ensure that there is a right balance between profitability and the culture of the organization. So now my next question is to Mr. Shalabh Sehgal. Being from the finance sector, it is one of my, I'm very much keen to know about, like, has the increased influence of Wall Street, Dalal Street, led to enhance the focus on stockholders rather than stakeholders? Also, how do you see the roadmap of the Indian economy over the coming decades?
Thanks, Mamta. It's a very interesting question. See, let's first understand what is the objective of a business. So whether it's a small business or it's a large corporation, the objective of business is to maximize profits, isn't it? So maybe in Wall Street or Dalal Street parlance, it is about maximizing EPS, which is earning per share. Now what happens, you must be aware that a recent emphasis on quarter-on-quarter earnings. Every quarter you have these results. The managers are always under stress to perform, to increase the profits, quarter-on-quarter. Now what happens is, it really leads to cutting of the corners. So what happens is that the stockholders or the shareholders, they take precedence over the stakeholders. When you talk about stakeholders, we are talking about, say, the government, the regulating agencies, we are talking about the employees, we are talking about, say, general society at large. Now, it's very pertinent to note that you need to strike a balance. I'll just quote an example. We take an example of Tata or say maybe Toyota. They took time and invested in, all these things in the stakeholders. Though the profit took time, but you generate a goodwill. And sir, you understand the value of goodwill, which eventually it has on the balance sheet. So I would say that eventually it is about striking a balance between the stakeholders and shareholders. It is about striking a balance between tactical and strategic. Generally, when you talk about quarterly earnings, you are talking about tactical. But eventually it has to boil down to a strategic mode. Now coming to the second part, which was about the economy, how Indian economy is faring. See, we all know and we should be proud that India is right now the fastest growing economy in the world, growing at a rate, in fact the last quarter was 13.2%. And by IMS projection it is projected to grow at more than 7.5%. At the moment, we are sitting at $3.747 trillion of GDP. We surpassed Great Britain, and by financial year 2028, we will be surpassing Japan and Germany to become the third largest economy. And hold your breath. By 2050, we will be within striking distance of US. So it will be only China. Now, why it is happening? We are reaping a demographic dividend. We are a young population. We are educated. We are very aggressive while we work. So we should be proud of it, and best of luck, India. Thank you.
Thank you, Shalabh. It was really very insightful. Now the forum is open for all the members sitting in the audience. Anybody who would like to ask any question, otherwise I'll ask my question which I wanted to always ask. Okay, so my last question to each one of you is, we have witnessed struggles of Indian women who return post a career break. Could you please share your views regarding how companies are responding to these comebacks? A brief, yeah.
Well, in my company, we have designers, we have a lot of women working for me personally. And when they ask for maternity leave, that's basically when I see that they want to take a break. So for 2-3 months, I allow them to do no work. But post that, if they still want to stay home, they work from home, which has become very easy now. So that they are able to take care of their family and they can still work. So they're not really completely out of the work lifestyle, because it's very difficult to bring them back after 2 years and say now you start again, because then they lose connect with the complete business. So generally it's happened a few times in my company, and that's how I handle it.
Thank you so much. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think I can take a shot at that. Personally, I believe in upskilling and reskilling a lot, and I've done that for myself. I quit a 25-year-old glorious general counsel, head of legal position in several companies, went to France, lived alone, became a student, studied with people who were half my age, and came back and started aviation firm. And that was simply because I believed in the future of India and the future of
Lal to begin, because he has a commitment. And he's doing a wonderful job on organ donation, and I hand it over directly to him, and he would like to
हाँ मनोज है
Hello.
We are not God, but God has given us power to save up to 8 lives and improvise 75 lives. Good afternoon to you all, and thank you very much, Dr. Harpreet, for giving me the opportunity on this day to speak something about organ donation. I know the earlier speakers have spoken so well, but my subject is very different. I am talking not the virtual meta vision, I am talking about the reality today. Why it is important to discuss and talk about organ donation. In India, official figures from NATO, that is National Organ and Tissue Transplant Organization set up by the government of India, we are losing 5 lakh people every year, which works out to be 1,500 persons every day. And it means every minute 1 person we are losing. And this program, which is started at 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, one can imagine that how many lives, about 12 hours, so 12 multiplied by 60, that many lives, 720 lives we have lost, we are going to lose today during this program. So the question will come, why it is happening everywhere in the world, why we are so much worried about India. In UK, 2020-2021, only 430 lives were lost. You can very well say UK is 20th time less populated than India. Yes, multiply 20 with 430. It is not even 10,000. So we are also human beings. Yesterday I was speaking to the IS and IPS aspirants. They are preparing for the civil services. This is what difference it makes. Why you are making so hue and cry? And they are developed country, we are not developed, we are underdeveloped. So my reply was, we are not a kida makoda, we are also human beings like them. Why the Indians should suffer? Because this is in our hand. This is in our hand, we can save the lives if we pledge to donate our organs. Because in India, 2019, because 2020 and 2021, because of the COVID, there are no more much road accidents, but in 2019 the figure was 1,65,000 people died due to the road accident, out of which 1 lakh people died due to the brain death. And the one brain death person can save up to 8 lives and improvise 75 lives. So one can imagine if all those 1 lakh people's organs would have been donated, we would have not lost a single life. But the reason is we are having a organ donation registry where it's a voluntary. Even I, a crusader for organ donation, and I would like to correct Dr. Harpreet, I am not a doctor, I am a businessman. I have taken up this because 6 years back when I had a massive heart attack in London, and my LAD, the doctors are sitting here, they might be knowing, 100% blocked, and I was saved. I was admitted in King's Hospital there. And then I decided to pay back to the society, and I was searching what I should do, in which field. And I found that this is a field which is untouched, or even many organizations are working, but still there are lots of things to be done. So many people are dying. And these figures are official figures. Unofficially, you can multiply 2 to 3 times, because in India we know that in small cities or the villages, reporting is very poor. All deaths are taken as a normal death because they cannot diagnose the patient is died because of liver cirrhosis or the collapse of lungs, etc. So when I decided to come out for this, I found lots of resistance. People are not ready to listen. They should understand that because in India we have a voluntary system where being a crusader, even I have registered myself for my organ donation. Tomorrow, if I met an accident, road accident, and if I have my organs to be donated, and if my wife and my children says no, it means no. And then the government or the medical college or hospital cannot take my organs. While in UK, it's an opt-out system, UK and Europe. In USA, it is opt-in like India. But the difference is, there once you have filled up the form in USA, unless you will not revoke the form in your lifetime, the organs will be of government or the state, and they will just inform the relatives. While in India, the consent of close relatives are required after the brain death or even natural death, because the tissues can be donated like eye and skin and bones, etc. But for organs, also when brain death is there. Similarly, in UK, the difference is there's an opt-out system, because everyone who has become the adult by default, they are the property belongs to the organs belongs to the government of UK or the European governments. Unless you opt out, and if once you opt out, then you can very well opt out. You can say, I'm not having faith, my religious faith says no, don't donate, etc., etc. But the catch is that you will be on the bottommost of the wait list. Otherwise, you are not going to get the organs in that country. So in India, the laws has to be changed. We should go for the opt-out. But some religions, although not all, says, although I have all the codes, but I know the paucity of time, no religion, whether it's a Hindu, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Sikhism, Jainism, I have all the codes of all the religion. They never say that organ donation is taboo or banned in their religion. So when we are talking about the Karma Yoga and the Raj Yoga, Karma Yoga, and as Dr. Harpreet initially said, Lord Krishna was the Karma Yogi, and I belongs to the land of Lord Krishna, that is Mathura. And there, when you are doing the Karma Yoga, means you are not being attached with anything. So when you are not attached with anything, why you are attached with the organs or the tissues of the dead person? You should come out if you really want to be a Karma Yogi. Then only one can say that you are a Karma Yogi. You have to be detached. You should donate in case of the brain death, the organs, in case of the tissues, in case of the non-natural death, the tissues, so that so many lives can be saved. And when we are talking about the Raj Yoga, which means ruler, which means that they have all the powers and they want to become the immortal. I will donate so many money here, there, temple, mosque, everything. I will not become immortal. I know once I am talking here, she will recognize me, you may think about me, once you will leave, you may not even think. And I cannot become immortal. But tomorrow, if I am going back to Mangalore by the flight, and if I get an accident on the way, not the flight, on the way, and I will be declared brain dead, and my organs will be donated to different people, I know that the family which are going to receive will be praying for me, will be remembering me forever, not for this generation, for the generations to come. So I become immortal. So I always say, if you want to become immortal, you become the Raj Yogi. Raj Yogi only when you will donate your organs. Somebody says that death is a very painful thing. I disagree. I say death is also many times very happy moment. I will give an example. Like if I am going and I had a brain death declared, and one of my friends give a call to another friend and he says, a good news, Mr. Goyal is dead. My other friend will say, why? You are saying good news? It's a very sad news. My other friend says, no, good news is because your son who is suffering from the heart failure, he requires a heart transplant and the doctors have given only 1 week's time. The heart is on the way, your son is going to survive. Now just think of the happiness of that family, that their entire family, friends and their relatives. So it happens many times that the death is also very happy moment.
Thank you, Doctor. In fact, but this is a very valuable point which you have just raised. This happy moment of giving. I just wanted to share, going by your example, when I was the CEO Alliance Air, we saved 4 human lives by delaying the flight, taking the passenger's consent. After talking to the captain, we delayed the flight to receive the organs from one city fly down to another location, and 4 lives were saved. And it was a combined, pure soul, integrated decision with the passengers and the captain and everybody. You know, and we have actual live cases of organs, and you're absolutely right, we must be ready to let go of this body attachment. You know, this is a body attachment. Okay, now I'm dead, but I still want to value that, you know, that bone and the eye, and you're no longer, your soul has moved on into a peaceful journey. So I fully support your thought, and that's why you're here, and please support his movement of organ donation.
This is not my movement, this is the movement of all of you, because ratio says that 1:6 means our probability to donate is 1 and our probability to receive is 6. So anything can happen with anybody. Yes, you have raised up. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you if senior citizens, old people can also donate.
Yes, very valid question. There is no age limit. The youngest, I will tell you, the youngest donor in the world is 74 minutes girl, born in UK, 74 minutes. Her brain was damaged at the time of birth, and the family decided to donate the kidney and the liver, saved. And the oldest was of 95 years of from USA. So there is no difference of age at all. If your organs are healthy, if your organs are fit, the doctors assess, they can take those organs. And tissues also, that is eye, skin or bones, etc., can also be taken. There is no age limit.
Thank you so much, and for your brilliant talk, and we'd like to honor you with a small plaque.
And thank you very much for listening me. I know that people have gone for the lunch and nobody wants to listen to this type of dry thing, but you have listened so patiently. Thank you very much. I only want, because I have played my inning, I was a bit upset with her because I wanted to go. I am an aged person, and being a heart attack, the doctors advised me to take rest every day. I could not do my siesta, but anyway, for this cause, I am ready to do anything. Tomorrow I am addressing the MIT University also, so that I want to dedicate my life, and I want you all, young people, you must come forward and be educated, understand the importance of organ donation. Thank you very much.
Okay, now we want to invite on stage in a combined panel, in the interest of time management, Dr. Piyush Saxena, Senior Vice President, Reliance Industries, to please come up. Srimati Isha Rawat, is she here?